Okay. As a precursor to all of this, I just want to say I put this on the algorithm for putting me onto this. I have been gone for a while. I know. But I came back at the perfect time because the algorithm, ooh, it was giving me some juicy shit. Okay. On top of all the Trump, Epstein shit, obviously. About a week ago, I started getting recommended this channel. Oh god, I'm already forgetting his name. Skyline Superhero. And it seems other people like Penguins? Charlie, I guess, reacted to him, I guess. If you're wondering why it says I'm in Canada, I was using a VPN to watch something on Netflix. But so I came across this guy's channel. I saw his first patrol video, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's based. He's going out, watching out for bad guys or whatever." We'll get into it. He's helping out people. He's doing all this. I might have the gripe with the name, but he does some good stuff. And then I happen to be recommended his series on the real life superhero icebergs. I watched the first four. I didn't watch the rest of them yet. I stopped because I was watching something else, as you could tell in the background. In those videos, there were some moments that made me hesitate. For one, the fact that he calls himself a superhero. But if you know anything about the real life superhero community, they all call themselves superheroes, despite the fact none of them have superpowers. They kind of just call themselves that, which is fine. I don't really care. Technicality, whatever. You want to call yourself superheroes, go ahead. But definitionally, it's superpowered heroes are literally only supposed to be super powered individuals. Like Batman is not a superhero; he's just a hero, mass vigilante hero. That's what I am, mass vigilante hero. 20 years. If you're unfamiliar with the channel, why all these little weird things started to pop up. The one thing when I got 4 episodes into the iceberg, and he had yet to mention the word vigilante or vigilantism, was a weird red flag to me as well. But after I found this video that he happened to make like a month ago or something, the how not to be a superhero in real life, and within I was like, I know it's gonna be something I shouldn't watch it. I shouldn't ruin it I should leave it alone. As soon as I saw the title, I should have left it alone. And now I'm gonna feel bad because I have to oh god, now I'm gonna feel so bad. Uh but I said I'll give it 5 minutes. And if I can go 5 minutes without pausing and complaining, I won't make a video. I won't make a video. I won't make a video. I paused probably about 7 times before the 5 minute mark because several things triggered the fuck out of me. And it makes all so much sense why the superhero community is a bit off, a bit weird. Oh, no guns, no weapons at all, but some weapons are okay, but not really at all. Like why it's so weird. These guys have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And the fact that you're engaging in light acts of vigilantism and just saying that's not vigilantism, that's being a superhero, but then having a disconnect. Oh god, we'll get into it. We'll get into it, okay? I put product in my hair this time. I don't want to fucking hear a single comment about it, okay? But unless you're Superman working for the government, you have no legal authority. However, we do have legal defenses that we can use in court to justify some actions, thus self-defense, defense of necessity, property defense. Most people are stupid enough to not think of these as acts of vigilantism, but definitionally they are, and I consider them all acts of vigilante justice. If you were unable to get the cops, if they were unwilling to show up, or if they were corrupt in the ones you were going up against, you're engaging in an act of vigilantism. If you're upholding the law, like if you're preventing a crime from befalling yourself or somebody else, that's law enforcement. You are enforcing the law by not allowing the crime to happen. That's just right here, right? That's just textbook definitionally. We cannot have a conversation about this shit if you cannot agree on that fundamental fact. And the way that people talk about vigilantes versus heroes, they talk like if you're a vigilante, you're automatically an anti-hero. This was in the Destiny video that was going to be this week's upload. That's going to be next week's now, because this video triggered me harder. But this fundamental misunderstanding that the heroism, which is the vigilante mindset we're taking, can only lead to an anti-hero outcome, and in our world there's no anti-hero and you're automatically the villain. And I would say, if you only cared about legally speaking, yes, that is your perception of it. But if you cared about morality, you wouldn't give a fuck if he broke a law or two to save a life, and neither does our legal system. This is why we have defense of necessity, which allows some level of criminality to prevent a further or more severe crime from befalling somebody. Like, if you break a window to save somebody's life, they're not going to charge you with vandalism. They're going to say, oh, you were doing it to save a life? Oh, well, you weren't just doing it to do it, or you weren't breaking the window to go rob the house. You were trying to save somebody. And you won't even have to be worried about getting a charge at that point. They might not even charge you. The cops may not even arrest you. They might just let you go home. That's what they've done almost always in my cases. And they didn't even know granted, they didn't know I was a vigilante. They always usually think I'm a good Samaritan. And I used to think that I had to hide it way more than I did, until I learned more about our legal system and realized, oh, I literally do it legally. Like, I literally accidentally, because my original pacifism that kept me leashed, kept me on the line of only getting involved when absolutely needed, which is allowed under defense of necessity. Just so happens my state was one of the many ones that had it, and not one of the states that didn't have it, which is bullshit. We'll talk about that eventually, but not in this video. I've already went on a bit of a tangent before starting this guy's video, but it's just to give you an understanding, a grounding from where I am in my perspective of a vigilante versus his and other people's, which is there's no such thing as a hero vigilante. They can only be anti-heroes because vigilantes can only break the law. And right then and there, you're having a disconnect. I used to think the same thing. And technically we can still do, and do it to the point where the cops will chase us, like in the case of Batman. He doesn't care how many laws he breaks usually, but he's usually not going around killing people. But nobody would call Batman an anti-hero. He's obviously not an anti-hero, as he eventually does work alongside the cops once they do trust him. Yes, at first he had to break a lot of the laws to gain that trust, but it's nothing more than the cops would have did if they had a warrant. Name one thing Batman has done that's illegal that a cop couldn't do with a warrant. I'll wait.
Ow. It's a really nice table.
We got a dozen witnesses that saw you walk out of that building before it went kabooey.
Yeah, I heard some gangs had taken over. Figured with you guys occupied, I might help myself to some of your supplies. Hey, do you guys have any canned peaches? Man, I'll trade an arm and a leg for that right now. Not mine. Somebody else's.
I need a fake skeleton so I can replace myself with it for a gag. Edit in a fake skeleton me. Over me. Alright. Let's get into this video and why the first 5 minutes triggered me right off the bat. I already got into some of it, but he's on a whole other level, my friend. This video contains topics some viewers may find disturbing. Topics include violence, gun violence, oppression, racism, bigotry. I would have said those are all the same thing, but whatever. Suicide. That makes sense. Kidnapping. How are we? Okay. And more violence. Why you didn't need to put the more violence, my dude? Why did you? How is my viewer discretion better than yours? That is just.
You know, recently there's been a lot of newcomers to this whole niche little subculture of real-life superheroes. So with all the new people joining, I get a lot of them coming to me asking how they can get started too. But explaining all that in the comments would give a really long wall of text that it's just not that conducive for all of them. Honestly, it's kind of too much for just one video. So I'm starting a series called Superhero 101. So we're gonna skip.
God, I can't. It's triggered. You know, I was gonna let the superhero shit go. But as soon as he starts, I know I'm not gonna let it go. I know I'm not gonna let it go. Bro, I had to go to therapy in my mid-20s before I was even able to give myself the title of hero. Okay? And that was after 17 years of being an actual vigilante hero. And it's just like, bro, they came into the game calling themselves superheroes. Oh, bro. And there was the one, oh my god. Oh god, was it the first video I watched? He's like, anybody can be a hero. And I was like, it depends on how wide your definition of hero is. Like, if your definition is strictly a hero is like, oh, somebody who saves people or, you know, saves the day, right? By that definition, like, maybe helping people? I guess you could still help people, but that's usually not like a heroic thing. That's just a good person thing to do. Like, I would never say helping a friend out is a heroic thing to do. I'd say that's just a good thing you did for your friend, right? I don't think it's, oh god. I mean, unless the homeless person is actually dying of dehydration, I don't think the water bottle you gave him technically saved his life. It definitely helped. It was definitely a good thing. I'm sure he appreciated it, and you should do more of it. Don't get me wrong, keep doing it. But it's like, probably wasn't gonna die in that moment, my dude. Calm down. But then again, who am I? I started out with elementary school bullies. I'm sure nobody was actually gonna die there as much as we were covering each other in each other's blood.
Daddle on over to the classroom and get you started on your superhero journey.
Oh god. See, he has a chalkboard. I need a chalkboard, a whiteboard. I mentioned this in the video you haven't seen yet, but I have a whiteboard in my mind that I write down the justifications for my existence on. And I talked about this in the video that you'll see later. That if I were to actually try to write them down, I would need a whole room full of whiteboards at this point. So it's probably not a good idea. I just thought it was fucking hilarious that he also has the fucking chalkboard in his video. After I recorded the other video first. It's just funny. You'll get the joke in the future if you somehow watched that video first and then came to this video. You get the joke. You get the joke. But the people who watch this video first, they're not going to get the joke.
Welcome to Superhero 101.
Oh, speaking of my whiteboard, this chalkboard would go on my whiteboard. FYI.
Decided to go ahead and start you guys off with what not to do.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am being mean. I am being mean at this point. I'm sorry. I'm really trying not to be. I'm trying not to be a bully. I literally started out my career beating up bullies because they fucking deserved it, okay? I'm trying really hard to be a fucking dick here, but it's... Oh, I can't tell if this guy's rage baiting me or not. But the whole community is that way, so are they all rage baiting? There's no way. With the fucking... We're allowed to be superheroes even if we don't have superpowers. What do you think super means in the name, dude? You can start to, when you know it's bad when you can hear the Joker laugh forming in my voice. You know it's about to happen. It's that one bad day finally, 20 years in. I had a good run. I had it. Jesus.
Because a lot of you out there have this idea of what a superhero is supposed to be. And a lot of you thinking more of the power fantasy than you are the responsibility. So let's clear that up. Now, first things first.
You'll completely watch him just face plant on whatever the fuck. I forgot that's what he was supposed to do with this. Is that what you meant to do with this chalkboard? Wait.
There have this idea of what a superhero is supposed to be. And a lot of you thinking more of the power fantasy than you are the responsibility. So
the power fantasy versus the responsibility. Like claiming a title that you haven't earned. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, I'm really trying not to be mean. But it's kind of what he's literally doing. Oh, bro, no shot. Oh.
Let's clear that up. Now, first things first, there's no one way to do this. There's no one kind of superhero. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and that's part of what makes it so fun to begin with.
That's true. Hey, I didn't see a single gay superhero on that list. How dare you? I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with you. Pretty sure at least one of those characters is bisexual. Probably.
And it's also why it makes it so difficult for me to tell you how you should do it. You know, when you read a comic book, you're not supposed to read it and go like, oh.
There are two different types of, well, not my, what are there different ways of like being a superhero? There's only one way to be a hero. If you're not a hero, you're an anti-hero or you're a villain. There's only one way to be a hero. And that's to like engage, well, it depends on your fucking, how wide you want to cast the fucking net, right? If we're talking about like, when we talk about superheroes, like, do we focus more on the, you know, Flash donating toys to orphans, or do we focus more on the action? What are we striving for? Do we want to give toys to orphans, or are we here to fight crime? This is where, like, the disconnect comes from, like, you try to fucking mix 2 or 3 different worlds together, and now you're, like, the practicality of this isn't very useful. And it's already starting to confuse me right off the bat. I've been doing this shit for 20 years.
How you should do it. You know, when you read a comic book, you're not supposed to read it and go like, oh, man, if I had superpowers, I would totally make a difference. No. I've harped on this before, but
if I had superpowers, I would totally make a difference. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, it depends on the type of person you are. That's why some people get powers and they become villains. Some people get powers and they become heroes. No?
harped on this.
Like I said, I'm already confused in this.
Man, if I had superpowers, I would totally make a difference. No. I've harped on this before, but with great power comes great responsibility.
I mean, if we're specifically striving to be a hero, and that's not if you read a hero story and say, oh, what a loser, which I would say most people in our world probably would. Even most people in the comic book world look at the heroes and call them Boy Scouts, Messiah Complex, want to be fucking God or whatever. I mean, they say the same thing about me too. So, I mean, kind of. I'm again so lost at what is going on here. This is why this video pissed me off. Why I couldn't make it 5 minutes in. I'm like, what?
Oh, I've harped on this before, but with great power comes great responsibility. All that.
I mean, if you're striving to be a hero, yeah, that's gonna be a given. Because heroes are inherently righteous and will want to do the righteous thing and usually do the thing that, you know, it depends. Are we talking just about a hero or are we talking about a vigilante hero? Because these are two different things. Like a hero in the Knight's story is probably not a vigilante, but like they would probably be considered the hero of the story. Like Shrek isn't a vigilante, but he's definitely the hero of Shrek, right? When he goes and saves the princess from the dragon. He didn't break no law doing that. Somebody was supposed to go fucking save her. Like, it was planned for her to be saved. But he still ends up being the hero. So, like, where is the... this is what I said in the Destiny video. Where do you draw the line? You cannot have a fucking thing that is everything. Okay? Pick a lane and stick with it. You can't just say hero and think you get credit. What kind? Are you a cop? Are you a doctor? Are you in the military and you save some people's lives? You're a hero? Are you a vigilante? Mass hero? Like, where are we drawing the line of, because when I heard these, the way he puts it, when we did, I blame Disney. I blame Disney for everybody thinking the world is a better place than it actually is. I do. I think they genuinely gaslit my entire generation into thinking that most people are good faith. That's what I believe, truly. Oh my god. This poor kid. I'm gonna feel so bad for making this video. But I have to. He's spreading fucking harmful misinformation about my people, okay? And we're getting to it, okay? You may have already fucking have caught me if you're watching this, Skyline, for what I said earlier, that I engage in vigilantism legally.
Means is if you see a problem that you know you can solve, do it. If you've got the power to solve it, then it's your responsibility.
Solving any problem is now a hero? Solving any problem. I just fixed my furnace when it broke. Does that make me a hero? It's a problem. I solved it. I didn't have to solve it. I could have just bought a new one. Does that make me a hero? The hero of the furnace? Oh, damn, that's actually... Damn, that actually went hard. Hero of the furnace. Damn, that's a book title if I've ever heard one. Patent that me.
To do so. Comic books are allegories for real life situations and how your moral aptitude should apply in them. They're not power fantasies for you to feel.
They are not based off of what you should do. It's based off of glorifying the few who are capable of doing it. That's the point of heroes being unique and special, is that very few are capable of doing usually what a hero does. And this is when I go back and I realize his saying of that everybody can be a hero, no matter how big or small the deed is. He thinks just helping somebody makes you a hero. That doing a good deed in general makes you a hero. And that's his definition of a hero. But that's just like a fundamental disconnect. Like, if I could, like... Just really quickly, because I can verbatim give you the definition for vigilantism, but what is a person who is admired or idolized for courage, outstanding achievements, what do you mean by outstanding achievements? So if you're telling me if I built a if I made a world record, would that make me a hero? This is what happens when you have... Why is there 3 different meanings to this shit? Something that's for courage, for outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. You can have noble qualities and not be a hero. Am I fucking wrong on that shit? Am I just wrong on that? Is this the definition people work with? I never knew this was the definition. I thought it was somebody who would, like, displays great courage in saving people, or, like... But just people who are admired or idolized for courage. Oh my god. I just realized that's why they call athletes their heroes. Oh my god, kill me now. Kill me now. Oh god. You remember how, like, 2 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago in the video, however long it was, when I said you can't have a word that means everything? Because we already have a word that's that, and it's everything. This is what I fucking meant. Stop fucking with definitions every 5 years. I guarantee you if I go back 10 years, it'll be a different definition. Maybe 20 years I might have to go back. But basing on how I've seen other definitions change from when I saw them when I was early 20s to late 20s, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a recent fucking updated fucking definition. Like within the last 4 years. 5 years maybe. And that's not that long ago. Don't try me. But if you were to go back to mid-2000s, this definition would likely be different, in my opinion. The meaning of hero is a mythical and legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed by great strength or ability. See, that makes fucking sense. That sounds more like what a hero should be, a mythical or legendary figure who is capable of great strength or ability. Ability there covers cops, doctors, firefighters, fucking vigilantes, fucking, you have the ability to fucking, you don't have to have, divine descent endowed in you. Well, technically, we're all children of God, aren't we? So technically, we all have a piece of the divine in our souls. So if you're religious, technically, we're all divine descended endowed, I guess. I don't know really what the fuck that means, but I'm assuming it's meaning that. For either great strength, like a fucking war hero would be, or ability for somebody who's super intelligent or somebody who's super capable. That makes more sense of a definition and meaning. I don't know where the fuck Oxford's fucking definitions are coming out of their asses. Second, another term for submarine. Am I? Maybe maybe I just smell some bad weed or something. Maybe I'm hallucinating this. I'm like losing it. Again, I'm not even fucking 5 minutes into I'm not even 2 minutes in to reacting to this, and I'm already looking up definitions, having to pause it, losing my mind, and I already need to take a piss. I'm taking a piss break, and I'm gonna smoke more of the bad weed and hope it is just a bad trip. Jesus Christ. I just realized, as I'm fucking up my hair, losing my mind, taking a piss, right? That this is actually why they changed the definition. It's because of fucking athletes. Because they think like, oh, LeBron James is my hero. No shade to LeBron James. Definitely still one of the best fucking basketball player of all time, probably one of, if not. But, like, I wouldn't say because he dunked the basket the most times he's a hero, okay? Maybe if he donated some of his wealth to a charity that helps save lives, yeah, that's a pretty heroic thing to do because he used his ability as a wealthy man to fund, saving lives. I'd say that's a noble cause in using his ability for such. A definition of being a hero should be somebody of great ability or strength and uses it for noble causes. But this fucking definition I read over here, or noble qualities, it's just this leaves so much in or out of the entire thing. I don't even know what it is or isn't in this definition. So whoever's making definitions over at Oxford, can you do me a favor? Change it to a person who wields great courage, strength, and or ability, and applies them in noble ways. Because that should be your definition. And it shouldn't include anything else, okay? Great or fucking outstanding achievements, okay? That would count anybody in the, Guinness World Record book is now a hero, okay? They're a hero now. You have to live with it. The same hero that Batman, Spider-Man, they're the same level, same of importance, all equally important, all heroes, right? That's what happens when you try to have a term cover everything. It's why we have different words for different things, different categories for different things, right? The hero, the anti-hero, but then both can commit crime, but if you commit crime, you're automatically an anti-hero, but doesn't, by definition, every hero break the law by engaging in vigilante justice at first, so technically they're all starting out as anti-heroes. And by Destiny's definition, the only way to save an anti-hero is to kill them at the end of the story to make room for a new hero to come in. Or you could just stop fucking killing people, that's an idea too. So you understand why I'm not 5 minutes into this shit, I'm losing it. I had to go take a shower and eat food to calm myself down before I recorded this video, because I'm like, I'm gonna be kind of mean, and I don't mean to be mean, because this guy is just likely misinformed, likely because most of the world is uninformed about this subject. I don't know how. The fact that we have so much media, especially since it became so popular in recent years, how people have such a misunderstanding of what the fuck a hero is, or what the fuck an anti-hero is, even. Like, it's not that difficult. Both do commit crimes, but one does so in the pursuit of finding justice within the system, which is why they break the law to collect evidence. Whereas anti-heroes do not believe in the system, so they just kill the motherfucker because it's easier. There's no point of redeeming them, our system doesn't work, fuck it. Bah! That's an anti-hero. Somebody who has given up on the system and is just punishing the bad, thinking they're doing what's right. Like, Tyler and Luigi technically would be anti-hero categories, right? Whereas I still fit firmly in the hero category, as I've never killed anybody, and if I do engage in any unlawful behavior, it's almost always covered, at least through the defense of necessity, of allowing some level of, like, inviting a fight so the guy doesn't swing on the 4-foot girl he was about to lay the fuck out, and now he's swinging on me, but who would you rather he swing on? The 4-foot fucking girl or the guy with the first-degree black belt behind him? Okay? Which would you rather? Your Honor? Exactly. So, like, this idea that, like, vigilante justice cannot be done without, like, committing a crime to the point where you're just as bad as the villain or whatever, like, there's a reason why our legal system allows some leeway there. It's just so long as you're not murdering people for jaywalking. Like, no shit, Sherlock. I wouldn't even yell at somebody for jaywalking. I see it happen every day. I don't even fucking yell at them. But I've talked about this in other videos that I don't even care about law. When I don't care about the law, and I really only care about people getting hurt. That's why I could give two shits about non-violent offenses. You know what I mean? But, like, when I watched that guy's first patrol, he literally said, oh yeah, my friend says there's some vandals in his neighborhood, so I'm gonna go patrol it. I tried not to laugh. But I don't think in the whole video he even said what the vandalism was that they did. I don't know, was it graffiti? Were they knocking down trash cans? I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. No, don't get me wrong. It's good to, like, deter some crime. But it's like, fucking vandalism, dude? Seriously? You know, like, dude, you don't know any bullies at your school? I guess this guy's like a grown-up, I guess. He's talked about it. This guy was in the military! He was like, yeah, I always strive to be a superhero, so I went into the military and then I learned 5 different martial arts or whatever the fuck he learned. And I'm like, bro, I only had the word one. You way overkilled it. What the fuck? Most people don't even know how to fight. It's only the people who know how to fight you need to worry about if you do basic martial arts. This is why I switched to UFC. And did that for a fucking year. Just for good measure. But yeah, I'm sorry. We're not going to make it. It's going to be another 4-hour video. That's what I did the last time. Granted, that video wasn't like 2 hours long. Okay, so this will not be another 4-hour video. Okay? Maybe, we'll see.
Like the biggest badass.
Depends on how much he pisses me off. I'm going to be honest. It's not looking good. Not looking good. Oh, God. I'm about to go put on an act. I'm just done with my hair just fucking with me today. I'm gonna go put an ad on. Why? But every time I get out of the shower, you can tell my hair is just super flaccid after I get out of the shower. And even when I put product in it to make it look poofy and stay up, shit just doesn't fucking work, bro. Okay, I'm back with a hat, so I don't have to keep fucking my hair. So, like I said earlier, it depends on how much she pisses me off, will depend on how much I pause in this video.
To deliver that superheroes have a more bombastic nature and they gather more attention to deliver lessons about morality. I mean, we all watched Superman in 2025, and how many of you decided to go pick up that piece of trash you saw on the floor because you felt inspired to do better? Now,
I have not actually seen the Superman movie, nor have I been inspired to go pick up trash. I mean, I have, when I'm out and about and I see trash and I'm like walking by, I'll pick it up. But like, wait, is that what you fucking were inspired to do after watching what the fuck is this movie about? Wait, I swear to God, I watched an Angry Joe review and that picking up trash was not any part of the fucking movie that I was explained. Where's the part where Superman goes out just picking up trash? Is there a scene of that? I'm looking this up. Oh, we're looking it up. I'll find it. Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have laughed. Oh gosh. Ranting for vengeance. What the fuck? Who the fuck is this guy? The end of Superman. This movie sucks. Superman 2025 is a woke leftist garbage. That's the closest we're getting so far to him picking up trash. I'm so curious where he got the inspiration to go pick up trash from a fucking superhero movie. Where does the leap come from? Like, he's speaking as if these characters are specifically used to teach moral lessons, but that's not always necessarily the case. It could just be to tell an interesting story. So, like, that's what happens when you mix some of this media up together with the real life stuff. You don't understand that some writers are just that fucking lazy. Yeah, it happened that way because I wanted it to. Fuck you. That's a terrible answer to a terrible question. Why did the hero win? Right? That's a really dumb fucking question. Why did the hero win? Did you not watch or read the fucking book? Like, what did you, or like, watch the movie? Did you not see how the fucking hero solved the problem? Do I need to explain it to you? Like, it doesn't, unless you're some really lazy bastard that has him write out the villain at the end of every fucking episode. Just coincidentally, never to be seen again. Yeah, I guess. But like, that's what happens when you take really lazily like written stuff with like good written. This is why I'd say if you want the best, most akin to real life character writing wise, comic books, 100% they hit the best. I don't know why the live actions oftentimes drop the ball on this, but unironically the comic book fucking versions of the heroes are way more human than the ones they actually hired humans to play. It's fucking ridiculous. Especially in the last like 6 years. As much as I am a fucking left-leaning bisexual fucking Democrat, even I have to admit the bat shaming was a bit fucking much. The constant knocking down of male superheroes to make way for super women was like way too much when you could have just let them stand on their own pedestals like they normally do in the comics. But when it comes to the fucking live action shit, now all of a sudden we gotta bake a whole bunch of, oh, maybe I should just give up all my fucking money and give up being Batman because that's what's best for the world. And you know they were fucking, you knew they were fucking playing with the devil's cock because they fucking hid that shit under the criminal talking over him and Diana talking over both of them because, girl power, right? Like, the fuck? Oh my gosh. Sorry, that's my opinion on the woke stuff. I don't mind woke. Have a superhero suck all the dick he wants. But you don't need to make every superhero gay, and you certainly don't need to knock down every straight male superhero to make room for a gay or women superhero. Like, Wonder Woman does not need you to handicap the rest of the Justice League to have her be the second fucking most powerful fucking being on the team. And one of the probably more badass, I would argue, more badass than Superman at times, Batman. She's fucking ruthless in the comics. That's some bad bitch energy if I've ever seen it. But all that shit goes out the window. It's like they try to make her a super overly compassionate person, but at the same time keep that ego for when a man's in the room. You know what I mean? God. To be fair, that is kind of like a part of the like character of like Themyscira, but god damn, they turn it up to an 11. You would think they were fighting crime with Diana's mom instead of Diana. This is the girl who left to help humanity. What do you think the rest of her people, talk to us about us? Play the fucking shit. Fucking A.
Pick up that piece of trash you saw on the floor because you felt inspired to do better. Now, that's the real superpower. And that's the power of a real-life superhero, too. I could do all the things that I do as a real-life superhero, but out of the costume. And, well, nobody would really bat an eye. People see a charitable event and they're like, that's cool. But then people see a dude in a superhero costume doing the same thing and they're like, wow, superheroes really do exist.
Keep that mindset in mind. Just keep that, what he just said there, in your mind. Remember that.
And it gives me an opportunity to inspire them to do better themselves, because it's really not that hard. Now, this video...
Oh god. Now it's the brain damage. Now the dyslexia is not dyslexia. It's the brain damage that I'm stuttering over. Okay? It's not hard. I'm not convinced this guy did any martial arts now. No way you went out of your way to learn 5 martial arts, but it's not hard to be a fucking hero in the same way that you are outside of the fucking costume. Now I'm really confused because what do you mean? Yeah, I don't wear a costume when I fight crime either. It's illegal in some states to wear a mask like that. Just to wear a mask. Like, you're probably lucky in your state that don't give a fuck. Because probably so little crime happens that you fucking... This guy had to go to no crime in his neighborhood, but he had to go to his next neighborhood where his friend lived. Which, by the way, if you go watch the video, it was like the whitest, richest looking neighborhood I've ever seen in my life. Out in the middle of the fucking desert boonies where nothing fucking ever happens. Maybe they still get an occasional bank robbery because they think they live in the Wild West. That's what it looked like. But there's no bank out there, so they have to fucking rob the Dollar Tree. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
This class, it's gonna be a pretty big bummer for a lot of you. Sorry. But this is not to discourage themselves, because it's really not that hard. Now...
It's fucking... Oh, that triggers me. That's trigger. I've been stabbed 5 times on 4 different occasions, and this motherfucker said this shit ain't hard. To be fair, it's easy enough for a 7-year-old kid to get into. That is true. But I would never say... I would say it's easy to get into. Not so easy to survive any longer than fucking a year, I'd say. Without either getting yourself locked up or shot up, like he'll say in a minute. Like most people, like Luigi... or Tyler, just go and shoot a motherfucker because they think that's their only option, right? And that, right away, throws away all potential they had. I said this in the other video, that they could have had being a hero, going after some people they could legitimately, legally go after. And now they can't do that because they're locked up for the next however long they determine their court cases are still going on as of the recording of this.
This video, this class, it's gonna be a pretty big bummer for a lot of you. Sorry, but this is...
I would honestly say the same thing because most people think, "Oh, we can be Batman, right?" And I'm like, have you seen a Batman movie? Have you seen a Batman show? Have you seen a single continuity where Batman isn't immediately pursued by the cops at first, at least? It's not until he proves himself that he is a hero and he really only goes as far as the cops would be willing to go. Like I said earlier, name a single thing that Batman has done that a cop wouldn't do with a warrant. Just ask yourself that question and then ask yourself, is he justified? As Bruce Wayne, the Wayne family who built Gotham City and owns most of it, does he have the legal authority or even right to defend Gotham City against its mass corruption in the justice system, to the criminal organizations plaguing the city? Like, criminal organizations around the world came to Gotham because it was the place to be for them. They knew they could get away with all their shit there. They come there specifically for that. That is Gotham City. And I hate when people always try to make the just say that Batman is just as bad as the criminals when it is you know nothing about anything about heroism or vigilantism, and you should shut the fuck up. If you can't tell me the definition of vigilantism, you should never have the word fall out of your fucking mouth.
Not to discourage you from trying to reach the heights of a...
Based off how you all fuck the goddamn definition of hero, don't you fucking dare touch vigilante again. I know after January 6th you took out the word corruption and all, you know, but if you change it again, I'm gonna have a serious issue with it. Because I still consider corruption a justification for vigilantism.
comic book character. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that you need to approach it with a level head and know what to actually expect, so when you go out and try it yourself and reality comes knocking at the door, you don't feel like quitting.
I'm sorry, I didn't full screen it before I realized. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I fixed it. I'm sorry.
Because trust me, it is not going to be as glamorous as it sounds. And I'm not saying this in a, I'm a hero, I'll take on all of the world's drama.
I mean, to be fair, that is kind of what we do. Well, it's not we're taking on their trauma. We just take the hits so they don't have to. Oh my god, that is what I do. Fuck. Fuck, I just... Oh god, I swung into it. I just realized. I don't take on all the world's trauma, okay? These guys get involved with two drunk guys at a bar. I'd never be so fucking stupid as to get involved in something like that or risk my life to get involved with two idiots being idiots. When I started out defending myself from severe bullying and then others from the same. Two jocks fighting over a girl I wasn't getting involved in, because they're both same size and same likelihood that they could fuck each other up. That's a fair fight, in my opinion. Let them fuck each other up over the bitch. I don't give a fuck. But if it's the scrawny 90-pound nerd versus the linerback of the fucking team we have, the guy who's known to be the best or the biggest on the fucking line, then I'm probably going to get involved. I'm not going to say I'm surviving that scenario, but that is my job to get involved in those type of scenarios. Like I said earlier, I don't care about crime. I care about people getting hurt, especially unjustified. And it all kind of stems from the fact I was bullied unjustified, and I got my ass beat unjustifiably. That's why I always take the hits for other people so they don't have to, because I know where that almost led to me. And I picked the best timeline. Oh my god, this is the best timeline. I need another break. Oh. Sorry, just having a self-actual ego moment there. Fuck. To be fair, in the other two timelines, I'd be dead. So, take that for what you will. I'm gonna hit this puppy again. Because it may only be 10-15 minutes into the video for you guys, but I've already been recording for an hour. Yes, I've edited that much out of what I've already said, probably. Don't worry about it. If it was super relevant, I left it in.
No. I'm talking about it being really boring sometimes. I'm talking about you having to do things that you really don't want to do that sound really lame and really boring, but they're extremely necessary.
True, but I know he's not going to say a single thing that's actually accurate to anything related to vigilantism. We are outside the realm of that. Well, to be fair, we are, but he doesn't think we are. That's something you need to understand. He doesn't think... he's about to get to it.
There's a lot of people who join this sort of real-life superhero community, and they just want this bombastic power fantasy where they're the coolest person ever and they get all the glamour and fame from it. That's not a hero. A hero is somebody who helps when they didn't have to in ways that they know they should. So consider this video a bit of a reality check, okay?
God, his definition is even broader. Well, to be fair.
That's not a hero. A hero is somebody who helps when they didn't have to in ways that they know they should.
To be fair, he gave a much better definition of a hero than fucking Oxford gave. That's for damn sure. Good on you, Skyline. Again, I just want to emphasize, I know we're probably super into this video. Nothing against you, dude. You're doing a good job. You're doing fine. It's just, you have a few misunderstandings that makes my life and my job as vigilante spokesperson a bit more difficult if I don't clear up these misunderstandings that a lot of people have. And people like you and even Destiny, who I would expect not to have some of these misconceptions, just somehow do. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to tell you that you're like lame or anything. I think you're fucking amazing for what you're doing. I like the suit, by the way. Yes, I'm not a Nazi, if you're wondering. That is just it. I bought the mask when I was 12 in 2011. Okay, that was before the neo-Nazis were wearing the red skulls. Okay, I just didn't have the foresight to see that they would adopt that from the Captain America movie. Okay, I didn't know. Okay, I'm just a Call of Duty fan, if you're wondering. Also, if anybody who's a fan of the channel, you notice our new little friend in the background. He's a little red ghost from Pac-Man. I put him next to the red ghost skull hood. I want him in a little crane machine. Yeah, I'm a master at that shit. Don't even check me on it. I should have took videos of it to have proof. Fuck. Next time I go, I'll make sure to get some videos if I get anything. I'll record the next time we go. God, I'm really off topic. Fuck. This is what happens when I get high on videos. I need to stop doing that. But then the power fantasy would disappear. Sorry. As you were, Skyline, I apologize for interrupting you again for my bullshit.
So consider this video a bit of a reality check, okay? A code of conduct for how you should operate in the real world, so when reality comes knocking, you're not complaining, because...
Depends on what we're talking about. Purely crime fighting? You can't get involved physically unless you're using self-defense or defense of necessity. Now, that's a tricky balance of how you can get self-defense or defense of necessity. Usually, vigilantism can be justified very easily in public spaces because you don't really have to break into places to find if they're committing a crime or some shit, so that prevents you from having a breaking or entering charge or a trespassing charge. Like, if it's a you know, like how you guys will go to bars, right? These are public spaces that are open to the public. People are in and out of the place, and they're in the parking lot of the bar fighting. As a very public area, you don't have to break and enter into a place to fight that crime. People like Batman, however, who need to break into places to collect evidence, usually illegally, will have to do that, however. Vigilantes who are like willing, especially in this case of corruption, like in my cases for corruption, I would definitely, if there was no other legal avenue, that's where our job starts to become, we uphold morality over legality. I don't care if you make him criminally immune, he's still going to be held criminally responsible for the people he killed. You can have the justice, the court of the justice system say one thing, but that don't mean the court of public opinion gonna agree with you. And let me tell you what, we got a lot more of them than that. You, all right. Oh, fucking Supreme Court motherfuckers. Ooh, wait until you hear that Destiny video. Ooh, I bet you'll arrest it. Who knows? I didn't go that far. I don't think. I didn't say anything. I just warned. I didn't threaten anything. I warned, if anything, at most, that I will be one of the people who has to get involved. So please do your job so I don't have to. I don't want to have to fucking go that hard. I don't. And I certainly don't want to be the one who fucking partakes at all to landing in some kind of revolution or civil war. Fuck that shit. That's not why I got into the business of it. I am a pacifist. I'm like the most anti-war motherfucker I know. Okay, no make peace, no war, please. Less I have to be violent, the better. So I don't have to lie awake at night knowing whether or not I'm going to hell because my Christian upbringing, and I mean necessarily having to be violent in order to be righteous or whatever. Is that justified? But Jesus said it wasn't. Depending on the variation of Christianity you were raised in a fucking Christian preschool like I was. When they talk about woke people brainwashing the kids, fucking A. Sorry, I get off topic. I'm leaving that part in. The last show was funny.
reality is not going to be as nice as I'm going to put it. Lesson 1.
Funny enough, that joke is relevant because of all the woke fucking trash talking we had earlier in the video. I'm leaving it in.
For how you should operate in the real world, so when reality comes knocking, you're not complaining, because reality is not going to be as nice as
You will still complain. You will. You will do it in isolation. But you will still complain. Every day. Every minute. Every moment. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We do obsess a little bit over it, but you know, sometimes there's weeks where we're obsessing, and then like it's kind of like being bipolar almost. Sometimes it depends on whether or not we're in like active mode or passive mode. If we're more into it, it's probably like a daily obsession. But if we're part time in it, it's, you know, every once in a while when we're working cases, we might get into bad mood because things didn't end well or things didn't really go our way. So we kind of like to rethink or reevaluate things, and that kind of just comes with time and isolation and thinking things out for ourselves. However, if you do end up spiraling for fucking any longer than a week or two, and you're like going months of spiraling, I would say consider talking to a professional, mental health professional. Definitely, and you know, a champion therapy. We champion therapy on this channel. So, you know, take care of yourselves. All right. That's your friendly neighborhood vigilante masked hero reminder to, you know, take care of yourself.
I'm going to put it.
Call your parents. They miss you.
Lesson 1. 1. Roll confusion. This is
Oh no,
not...
this is where it triggered me. Oh no, I'm remembering. Oh no. Skyline, again, nothing personal. Nothing personal. I won't be mean. I promise I won't be mean. You can have the title hero. You've earned it. I think you've done enough that, you know, you've earned hero. It's just the super part that it's a nitpick thing, honestly. That is not that big of a deal. It's just that usually it's like definitionally, technically you're just a masked vigilante hero. That will occasionally, you know, when they're out on patrol, I bring water and stuff for you when I meet homeless people, and I'll give them stuff, and then I bring trash bags, and I want to pick up trash, because, you know, it's not always crime going on. You want to do as much good as you can. I respect that shit. All right? Don't think I'm trying to knock you for doing that shit. It's just, you know, now you're getting into my territory when you bring it up, because this is the first time I've ever heard you in 5 videos mentioned Vigilante. So now you're in my realm, if you couldn't tell by the title of this video. So forgive me if I have to like set you straight on some things. It's nothing personal. I just wanted again to preemptively say that. I'm not trying to be a dick, you know.
Vigilantism, all right? Superhero
Yay.
and vigilante have a
Yay.
lot of crossover, but they are not mutually exclusive, okay? Vigilantism is unilateral enforcement using force. Often
Unilateral enforcement using force. That is definitely not the definition, and I can look it up if you'd like, but I don't need to because I can fucking do it from memory. A vigilante, or vigilantes, is a group, or sorry, individual or group of individuals who undertake law enforcement without legal authority, oftentimes without legal authority. Sometimes they could be deputized, you know, with like later versions of Batman when he works with Jim Gordon and he allows him onto the shit. I'd say then he's, you know, not, you know, sometimes he has the legal authority. Most of the time he doesn't, though. Usually, because the system is unavailable, this is the first reason, we'll say, unavailable, unwilling? Yeah, unwilling, or found to be corrupt. I don't know. This is what happens when you're trying to conflate all these goddamn categories together. You see what you did, Skyline? You're breaking my fucking brain. I've never had to fucking think about this fucking hero shit until you come in here with your shit fucking on the fucking chalkboard talking about role confusion, and there's the same difference between vigilantes and heroes because they can't be the same thing, but also they have so much overlap, and it's what the fuck are you? Yes, technically you're right. But like it's kind of in reversed in the way that you're fucking. Well, I guess you're not right. Then you're wrong. Sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong in the sense that you kind of have it backwards. like, trying to make a distinct difference out of this. Like, vigilantes can go either two ways, hero or anti-hero. Now, some would say using a gun makes you an anti-hero. That is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life, because again, if we were to apply that standard to cops as the heroes, then heroes, they couldn't be heroes because they couldn't be able to use guns or violence or do bad things or use force. But I guess because they have ultimate legal authority, that makes them ultimately a hero because they had the right to fucking break the law. But even we do. And we can legally get away, do what we do, and we don't even have to break the law. But all these guys think that it's a default fucking setting for vigilantes to break the law, as he'll say in about 3 seconds. Why didn't I fucking unpause?
Oftentimes with information you don't have. I get this one a lot. People come to me trying to give me further advice on how to be more of a vigilante. But let me tell you something. You're gonna get more luck, and you're going to be able to do this for longer if you're not behind bars for one Band-Aid solution, okay?
You see what I mean? He pulled Don't Be Luigi on me. You pulled a Don't Be no shit, Sherlock. I've been doing this for 20 years. No juvenile record, no criminal record, no traffic fucking record. I ain't got no speeding tickets. I ain't got no parking tickets. Ain't never broke a law in my fucking life. At least I never got caught. Alright, I may sped here and there and then get pulled over, okay? But who the fuck doesn't speed on the freeway when they're late to work? Okay, motherfucker? Like, you ain't never sped. Don't look at me like that. But what do you, like, this is immediately, oh, you can't be a vigilante because you just, it's a fucking Band-Aid for fucking... When I describe vigilantism, I usually engage in vigilantism as an assisting force to the system. That's what makes me a vigilante hero. My job is to assist the authorities in catching these guys, if that means catching them for them and dropping them off at their fucking door, personally, or calling them to where they are and where I left them, then that involves that. Or well, if they're close enough, I could get somebody to go get some authorities right down the street while I keep the guy busy, if they're close enough. You know what I mean? But usually you have to stick around and they'll explain what the fuck happened. That's the only fucking thing you really gotta do is don't run and don't look like a criminal. But like, you can definitely engage in vigilantism without engaging in criminality. You know what I mean? It just depends on like how fucking far you go for it. Like, and where you need to go for, what you need to do. Like, if the law itself is found to be corrupt, yeah, chances are you're going against the law and breaking a whole bunch of fucking laws to fucking deal with it, if needed. Like with the case of Batman, with the corruption in Gotham. He breaks a fuck ton of laws to help the cops do their job at first, and eventually they trust him enough that he fucking half the time he has the authority to go do all that shit now from the cops. They're the ones who gave him the case. Jim called them up with the fucking bat signal. Here's what we got, Batman. Go take him now. Bring him back. We'll prosecute him. Right? Like, they literally use him as like their fetch dog, kind of. Which is funny, because he unironically ends up shitting on Superman for being the government's lapdog, which is, to be fair, who was really the lapdog in Batman and Jim Gordon's situation, let's be honest. Again, Bruce Wayne owns the whole city. His city, really.
Furthermore, if you're going to go out on a night patrol, you're probably not just going to run into a felony out of nowhere that you can, go kick ass at. The real world isn't Gotham. The news is lying to you and just feeding you the most heinous things that happen. The outside...
Okay, first off, don't use the Gotham fucking justification on me, motherfucker. I just made it to justify Batman, okay? My fucking town probably doesn't even have 8%, let alone 80% of crime. But I still ended up a fucking vigilante because the people in charge weren't doing their jobs. And they failed to protect me, so I had to protect myself and engage in vigilante acts, the self-defense, and took it upon myself to save myself. And then when I saw it happening to other people, I'd do the same for them if they needed. And then the inspiration of becoming better people often comes out of that, or often comes out of generous acts that we happen to do along the way. And that's really just because we end up feeling bad or guilting ourselves or just, not doing enough, so maybe we should do some more. Like even Barry Allen asks in the CW show to Green Arrow in that last season, you've been watching, do you think I'm doing enough? The fucking Flash, asked if he's doing enough with his powers, and he's literally saving everybody he physically possibly can. So like, oftentimes that generosity that you see that would come out of Flash stopping for the orphans comes out of like understanding there's so much bad in the world, and they just do genuinely want to spread more good and inspire more good because the world could fucking use it. That is like a genuine thing.
World really isn't that scary unless you live in, like, I don't know, Detroit.
But being a fucking vigilante doesn't mean you're like excluded from inspiring people that way. That's what I'm making the point of. Batman is a vigilante, yet he inspires others to be great. Superman is a vigilante. He inspires others to do better. He doesn't just do kind acts. He actually fights crime, which categorizes him as a vigilante, at least at first when he doesn't have the legal authority. Later, maybe when he works with the government, you can claim he's just an official actor of the government, or the official brand, like operative of the military, whatever you want to fucking categorize him as. But like starting out without the proper legal authority granted by the courts or granted by the justice system, they're still vigilantes if they fight crime. And Superman will go to other countries and stop wars, okay? He goes beyond just basic vigilantism. He will end a fucking war like that. Take out the whole fucking arsenal. Now you can't fight a war, motherfuckers. He's such a fucking, I love Superman. He's cocky like that. That's why Bruce respects him too. He's like, he could have killed them all, but he just disabled all their tanks to the point it's going to take them another 5 years to rebuild back up to fight again. And if they do, chances are Superman's still going to be around to do it again. You know what I mean? But like, these are vigilantes. They're just vigilante heroes. You have to understand these are more the same thing than what you're disconnecting them from. It's not that you're a vigilante, so you're automatically going to get thrown in handcuffs and thrown into jail. Well, yeah, kind of, if you're breaking the law. But if you can avoid that by like working through legal means, which there are legal means, you can still engage in vigilantism. That's the real boring part of vigilantism. You can't be Batman, but you can dance through self-defense and defense of necessity to like sort of dance around that and right place, right time it. You can't really go out of your way for that shit. At least I don't think so, but it's like, if you know you'll have to commit a crime, it could be you could be charged before anything happens that you were conspiring to fucking commit a crime. But now that I know a bit more about the law, I think they would have to prove that you were intentionally just committing crime to commit a crime, not like commit a crime in self-defense. Like, how does that even make sense? Like, depending on the crime you committed during a self-defense case might justify it. Like, I might be justified to break this window and vandalize it to escape a fucking axe murderer. I'd legally be justified there. That's still breaking the law, though. That's still vandalism. It's not my property. But like, doesn't mean it's gonna. I think people don't understand we have a lot more exceptions to the rule in our legal system than we actually do. I used to fucking think the same thing. Don't worry. When I was a youngster who wasn't even studying the law yet, I didn't really understand any of this, and I just became super overly cautious and just fucking kept my pacifist ass of just, only involving myself when I know somebody's about to get, like, actually hurt, which happened to be accidentally dancing into the defense of necessity, which I wouldn't even learn the term of until I was, like, fucking 20-something. Shout out Legal Eagle for making that Batman video, and that was the first time I actually heard that term.
Or New York or something. But in most cases, you aren't going to be witnessing a crime that requires emergency reaction. And so trying to detain somebody based on something petty, that's just kidnapping. You can...
Hold on. I have to re-listen to this.
You aren't going to be witnessing a crime that requires emergency reaction. And so...
Well, that's not necessarily true. technically, if you're outside the bar and a guy attacks a girl, isn't that not technically like, what if he's trying to like assault her? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could justify that in court. Like, yeah, some severe bodily harm or potentially life-threatening harm that I thought, because he had a weapon. You know what I mean? He was, threatening her with a deadly weapon. That's high. That's, there's a likelihood he might kill her. Who knows? Am I gonna take that chance? No.
Trying to detain somebody based on something petty, that's just kidnapping.
That is actually true. That you, like, this is why I thought it was funny that he was patrolling for people for vandalism. Like, what are you gonna do? Scold them? You can't just go up to them and start hitting them. That's just assault, my dude. That's definitely going above what the fucking crime is that you're preventing. You have to use less crime to prevent a more severe crime at the most exceptional exception to the rule in the law. You have to be under the like you have to be here and the criminal has to be up here, okay? If this isn't working, if you're the other way, you're fucked, okay? Batman probably goes around about bouncing around this, well, I guess if we're talking murder, depending on the criminal, if we're talking like fraud stuff, it's probably about the same, but if we're talking Joker, my arm doesn't go far enough. Ow. You get my point. Damn, I thought I had long arms, but that still wasn't long enough. Would have hit my fucking ceiling before I was done.
You can only perform a citizen's arrest if you witness an emergency felony, and that changes state by state, so check your local.
You don't always have to make a citizen's arrest. You could just keep them dancing long enough while the authorities are on the way, either because you called them in beforehand, you went in there, or you had somebody else call them for you while you went and handled the situation. This is usually how you're supposed to do it. But you're usually supposed to inform the authorities. Or if not, if it's an emergency, like you're getting attacked, it has to be immediate. You call the authorities after, like, you just fucked somebody up in self-defense, or maybe you stabbed them because they had a knife and you took it from them and it stabbed them while you were wrestling for it, right? And you, like, they're bleeding out now. You call the 911 and you say, oh, we need a officer and we need an ambulance at this address, right? You also have to ask for an ambulance, because if you wait for the cops to get there and they see him bleeding out and they have to be the ones who call it, whoo, good luck with that in court, my friend. That's all I gotta say.
Law too. Furthermore, vigilantism is kind of unethical because it poses that you have more authority over somebody else's rights than you should have, based on information you probably don't have access to. You can't just run in and start kicking ass because you think somebody stole something meaningless.
Wait, is that now the definition of vigilantism in your mind? What is the definition? Without looking it up or ChatGPTing it, tell me in the chat, in the fucking comments right now, Skyline, if you fucking cheat. I will know you cheated. What is the definition of vigilantism? Because I already looked it up, motherfucker, and your definition definitely don't fit in that category. The last 20 years of my life wouldn't have happened if your fucking way of it was the way it is. Unethical. For every fucking superhero is technically a vigilante. That would mean all of them are fucking unethical. Also, guns are unethical in your opinion, so cops would be not heroes either. Next, you're gonna say, well, doctors use tools that are sharp and they cause harm in order to fix people. So is that really justified? Does the ends justify the means? Because they had to hurt them in order to save them? Is it really justified if they could fucking hurt them just to save them? Really? Like, yeah, if it saves their life and they get a tiny cut in return and a scar the rest of their life, I think they'll be fucking grateful more often than not. Maybe I'm wrong. Dr. Mike, where are you? Or some other surgeon out there. What do you think? What would you think if somebody said that about you? That because you cause harm in order to fucking save a life, that you are now just as bad as the disease that is killing your patient? Or the damage that's done to them by, a gunshot wound or a fucking stab wound. Like, that's ridiculous. And by the way, the law does allow some leeway that you can like vandalize something in order to escape to save your own life, or in order to help somebody else escape and save their life. This is allowed. Some level of illegality is allowed if it's not to the extent that you're trying to prevent, right? Like as long as it's, not murder for, he tried to punch me, so I shot him in the face, right? You couldn't just punch him back? Why did you shoot? Are you okay, sir? Open Arkham. Get the door. Just mark it Arkham. Just stamp it. Arkham. He's insane. If you think it's justified to shoot a motherfucker in the face for punching you, you deserve to go to Arkham. That's my opinion.
We're gonna set the bar right now. This is not vigilantism, all right? And I'm sorry, I just...
You're gonna fucking... You fucking literally went on patrol to intimidate criminals. You were literally undertaking law enforcement. Law enforcement also patrols the streets to intimidate crime away. You are literally engaging in law enforcement behavior by patrolling for any type of criminal. Therefore, you're a vigilante. You are a vigilante, Skyline. You're a vigilante hero, not superhero. Hero. And yes, now I'm nitpicking about the fucking name, because you should fucking know better. I saw your fucking iceberg. You did more than enough research to have known this fucking better than this. Jesus Christ. This guy was in the fucking military. How do you go into the military when you're like, guns are unethical? How did you justify that? And the way oh my god, they talk about you're not allowed to carry any deadly weapons, including knives or swords or anything, but we can carry bow staffs. Yeah, a giant metal stick that can crack your skull into. Yeah, that's fine. No guns, but something that can crack your fucking head. I'm so done. Crack a motherfucker like an egg. That's justified, but God forbid you just shoot him in a leg in self-defense. God. Then again, I guess you could purposely avoid headshots with it, but still, you want to fucking come out here acting like you can't be non-lethal with a gun. What kind of fucking amateur are you? Just wing the motherfucker. He'll be fine. As long as he's not on blood thinners.
Don't trust the average person to be judge, jury, or executioner. And most crimes...
Here it is. All vigilantes are anti-heroes. Where does this come from? Who is out here saying this other than James A. Jameson from fucking Spider-Man? I thought we all hated him and understood this guy was a fucking dipshit. But apparently most people have that fucking opinion Jameson does. Vigilantism is all criminal. It doesn't matter if they save lives. It doesn't justify them breaking into the building to save 100 lives. I'm just letting you all let that stupidity sink in for a minute. You understand now why I smoke weed so much? Do you understand what I've been through the last 27 years? Tasmi is rolling in his spiritual grave right now, okay? He'd rather look at hell than what is going on right here.
is caused because of impoverished conditions, or executioner, and most crime is caused because of impoverished conditions. Material conditions create crime.
That doesn't get... You see, this is why I don't give a fuck about petty crime, motherfucker. Why are you out here looking for vandals when you got fucking serial killers on the fucking loose right now? There are still cold cases of people who never got caught for murder. Why are you looking for vandals? You're the one looking for vandals, motherfucker, not me. Why lock me up? When I get involved, and I physically get involved, I make sure it's fucking justified. This motherfucker's over here scolding old ladies for jaywalking. Sorry, again, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean. Oh, but you're fucking triggering me now, dude. Ooh! This is the meme, you know, in the superhero community, where that one guy who dressed up as Batman, and he was like, who was doing those skits on the YouTube shorts? And it was like jaywalking to littering, and it'd be Batman comes out of nowhere and jumps him, and then like drop kicks him and goes, "Good night!" Fucking, and he'd hit the camera or whatever. That's the meme. He's the meme. He's the guy who drop kicks the fucking loiterer. Bro, Granny, don't do it. It's alright, we did this when I was a kid. Good night. Boom! Fucking. Because what are you patrolling for? If you're going to intimidate, there's a saying in the actual vigilante community: if you're gonna talk that talk, be ready to walk that walk. Don't be going out here half-assing this shit, because it makes the rest of us look bad. It look like a bunch of fucking psychos or jokes when you spread this kind of fucking stereotypes that all vigilantism is villains, but you literally doing the same thing, undertaking law enforcement without legal authority by patrolling and intimidating crime away from your fucking neighborhood. And don't tell me cops don't fucking do that. That's why y'all were mad about the cops in the 80s for the crime bill. How dare you put more cops in the black community? How dare you have them patrol more? It's intimidating. It's intimidation. Don't tell me that ain't what they fucking do. They do. And that's what you're doing. You're undertaking law enforcement without the legal authority because you feel like you should. From everything I've heard of your story so far, you just grew up. From what you said in your first video, you just said you always grew up wanting to be a superhero, and that you went into the military, you learned all these martial arts because you wanted to be a superhero. I hate this life. I don't want this life. Most actual vigilantes don't want the life. That is the responsibility. Despite us not wanting it, and sometimes wishing we could walk away and drop our powers and forget about it like Superman does in some continuities once he has a kid. Batman, once he knew he was too old, he had to give it up eventually. Despite the whole once a hero, always a hero thing, and he finds a way later in Batman Beyond to still be a hero. Again, once a hero, always a hero. Not just a vigilante. Holy fucking shit. It just, because you just massively triggered me. I'm so sorry, Skyline. Again, I don't mean anything personal by it, but it's just a huge misconception that I don't know where this came from, that Batman is a superhero, but also he's a vigilante, and vigilantes aren't superheroes, and vigilantes are actually unethical and bad, but also superheroes, but not superheroes. You see how this is confusing now? This is why you have to define in which continuity are we talking about heroes. When you talk about what kind of heroes we're talking about when it comes to masked individuals who undertake law enforcement without legal authority due to the system not being available or not being willing or to be corrupt. You need to define vigilante hero. That is what you are part-time of. I wouldn't say that giving to the homeless is vigilante heroism. That's just being a decent dude. A really good dude, honestly. But when you can't just mix it then in with the vigilante heroism and then say, oh, well, vigilantes can't be heroes because they're inherently unethical. So every superhero would be then unethical because every superhero is by definition, by the own continuities of the comic books writers and creators themselves, these are vigilantes. Superman is a superpowered individual engaging in vigilante crime fighting because he has the power to. Batman is a billionaire turned fucking crime fighter because he watched his parents get murdered and while they tried to fight the crime and corruption in the city, which is a big part of the reason why he's obsessed to that point, is because that's what his family got killed trying to do. And that's a huge misconception of why Batman does what he does. They think it's all because his parents were murdered, but it wasn't just because they were murdered. They were murdered for doing the very same thing he does as Batman. It's just that they try to do it the right way. And that got them plotted against by the other richest families in Gotham and killed in front of Bruce. That's why he goes as hard as he does later in life, because his parents already tried to do it the right way. Got him killed. So he knew he had to be more than that. That's why I justify him. Nobody else in any other fucking situation could ever justify that, because Gotham is specifically designed to be the murder capital of the DC universe. It's meant to be the crime capital of the fucking world. But people don't know that context of Gotham. They just see the superhero Batman and think well, in our world, we'd never allow that. No shit, Sherlock. We don't live in Gotham, like he just said. That was actually something that used to got right on that. Good job on that. I would never encourage people to go full Batman. This is why in the video you'll see later next week where I threaten to become Batman. I've never had to be Batman yet in my 20 years of doing this, but I still have dealt with 56 perpetrators, even getting some of them arrested when they've gone that far and committed a crime, and even almost having to testify in 2 different cases, but they ended up either pleading guilty or taking a deal, so I didn't have to testify actually, so I've yet to actually have to testify yet. Hopefully I won't ever have to, but you know, knowing my luck. It's only a matter of when. But I hope you understand, I'm really not trying to be a dick. It's just, oh my god, the misconceptions and how somebody could strive to be a superhero their whole life and not understand what heroes and vigilantes and superheroes and the differences between them. I just hope you're careful. Just please be careful. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to leave it at. And anybody else who thinks of engaging in his type of behavior, even to the extent that he goes to, there are some crazy people, if you run up on them while they're vandalizing something, they might just pull a gun and say, fuck it. So please be careful. It don't matter if they're just doing a misdemeanor. They might just be doing a misdemeanor because they're fucking bored. Right? And they might be capable of doing a felony if you try them. It depends on who you try and when you try them, where you try them. It's heavily dependent on the individual, so don't just go around assuming it's going to be an easy layup every single time. In my experience, 8 out of 10 usually walk away without actually assaulting somebody, but there's still always that 2 out of 10. People who will swing no matter what you say, whether you calm them down or whether you intimidate them. It doesn't matter which way about it you want to go about it. They just, one of the 2 of them is usually drunk or super peer pressured up that they end up doing a stupid thing. The other just wants to see blood because there's something wrong with them and they're fucking, Joker type shit. You know what I mean? They're the ones who are the more or less the ones you really gotta look out for. The 1 in the 10s. You know what I mean? But just remember that 1 out of 10 assholes you come across might be a Joker-like motherfucker who might want to see you bleed just for the challenge. Just for the challenge of you challenging him. You just gotta be careful on that shit. But if you're gonna stick to more the light stuff where he's kind of at, you won't have to worry about that as much, but still just be careful if you're engaging in any acts of vigilantism. Make sure you're looking up your local and state laws and whether or not you're even allowed to wear a mask, because in some states it is a misdemeanor to wear a mask to hide your identity. Be very careful about going on patrol with that. His state, it's illegal, so unless he didn't even bother looking it up, at this point I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't actually know the definition of vigilantism. He probably didn't look up the Pacific. Well, that's not true, because he said in the one video that we don't allow knives on patrol because it could be charged as intent with a deadly weapon or intent to commit a crime with a deadly weapon. And I'm like, so anybody who has a concealed carry license that would be voided, because any weapon that you carry for self-defense would automatically be unethical because you have the intention of using it on some point, and that is apparently a crime. Because if you were going to use the weapon as a vigilante, it should only be in the pursuit of saving a life or saving your own life. Again, I will emphasize that. Do not go after fucking vandals who are doing misdemeanor fucking charges, okay? This is where you will get in legal trouble. If you go and get into pick a fight because somebody was knocking over a trash can, you're going to get charged harder than that guy is for vandalizing the trash can. If you go over there and provoke a fight and shove them or something, and maybe you got a little too heated or whatever, You just gotta be super fucking careful on that shit.
And a lot of people aren't just inherently evil people for you to take out. And again, you don't know their whole story. For all you know, you could be taking out a loving father and create an orphan simply because you wanted to be Billy Badass over here. Do you really want to create an orphan because...
Now, he's again mistaking the vigilante for anti-hero. Again, not if it's just they are kind of the same thing, but that's a type of vigilante. Like I say, I'm a masked vigilante hero. If I wanted to go around killing people because I didn't believe in the system, that'd make me a masked vigilante anti-hero. That's what an anti-hero is. Somebody who gave up on the system and kills people. You know, we said that earlier.
Because you decided that slinging a little bit of weed was worth taking somebody's whole life over?
What the fuck? Who the fuck deals weed? Where do you think I get my weed from? Weed's legal now, motherfucker. Where the fuck you been? At least in my state, it's legal both medicinally, which is how I started, and it's actually legal recreationally. It's in every convenience store, every gas station even. They sell joints, buds, fucking papers, fucking vapes, THC vapes. They sell it all now, just out of gas stations and convenience stores. If you were a weed dealer and got caught on like a 20-year charge for that shit, you gotta be pissed. Whew. This is why I don't go after non-violent offenses. I don't think they deserve fucking... Who cares if a motherfucker is tagging up a wall? Who cares if he stole like a loaf of fucking bread? Like, who cares? Were they trying to stab somebody while they were at it? If they did, then yeah, maybe I might get involved so they don't stab somebody who's innocent. And I might take the weapon from them, but I might let them keep the bread and get away even. But like, I'm gonna definitely prevent them from causing harm. I won't care about the crime. I will probably prevent them from hurting somebody. And then probably just leave it at that, especially in that kind of situation.
That could be...
But if they're using a deadly weapon with intent to hurt somebody unjustly, I'm not letting them get away with the fucking deadly weapon. I'm taking their weapon from them and I'm saying, take the bread and fucking leave. What about my knife? You're lucky I'm letting you keep the bread and get away without getting the cops called on your ass. Leave. And even then, I mean, like, you shouldn't have to fucking go that far to get a loaf of bread, dude. If you're gonna, why would you fucking stab somebody? Like, maybe if you're really out of it, but you gotta be careful with people like that because you never know how they really are gonna respond. Even with you with the knife, they might still charge at you to try to get their knife back. You gotta be careful on that shit. That's why the cops are always so fucking wired and overprotective and sometimes a little too gun-ho. You just gotta have a better mindset and work-life balance, and not let that shit build up for you to fucking get an itchy trigger finger or some shit.
Either judicious...
And to be fair, as much as I'm shitting on his no guns rule, technically I've yet to use a gun too. I do know how to use guns, I just don't use them in my practice. That's why I got the black belt and I did a year UFC. You know? Funny enough, I said when I was 13, I literally said, I don't need the gun. And every day, when I say I reference that, I always check my pulse to be like, yeah, still right on that. I love bringing that up.
By getting them arrested, or deciding to go the Punisher route and just straight up killing them, because I hear so many people...
Getting them arrested? Which is it, motherfucker? Do we arrest them or do we kill them? Now are we both hero and anti-hero? What is going on? I thought we just killed motherfuckers. Now we're the Punisher?
People being all like, oh, you gotta get a gun. It's the real world. I know about the real world. You gotta get a gun. Like, shut up.
You asked me to get sniped a mile away in that bright white and blue fucking... I'm just saying. I doubt it's bulletproof. And yeah, welcome to the real world where bullets kill motherfuckers. You're not Superman as much as you call yourself a superhero. You may have made him proud. If you're not trying to deflect bullets off your skin, that is. I doubt he's gonna be proud after that. It's gonna be pretty sad. Guns are for personal safety, not superhero patrols. Ugh. More on that in this video, lol. I'm sure. Oh gosh. Personal safety, but not for patrols. So do you not want people to be personally safe when they go out on patrol? Like, what are you fucking saying here? So confused. I'm so confused. You confused me, my friend. I'm so confused. What lane are we even in? Are we in the right lane, middle lane, left lane, upside down lane? It seems like. Where are we?
You were not the police. You were not military.
I am the law. Sorry, I had to.
You were not a judge. You were not the jury, executioner, or Judge Judy. You were just some dude in a costume who wants to help people. Understand? Speaking.
Wait, hold on. What the fuck? Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Can I get a repeat on that list?
You were not the police. You were not military. You were not a judge.
What are we? Patrolling for vandals? That's not law enforcement. How dare you? You know, you're right. It's not law enforcement. You know what? I'm wrong. It's not law enforcement.
You were not the jury, executioner, or Judge Judy. You were just a.
Fuck you. I could be Judge Judy. You don't know me. You don't know me like that. You don't know how much of law I study. Probably about as much as she did.
Some dude in a costume who wants to help people. Understand? Speaking of drug deals, that's a touchy situation that you honestly shouldn't even involve yourself in. First off, it's a victimless crime. But second off, for all you honestly should help people. Understand? Speaking of drug deals, that's a touchy situation that you honestly shouldn't even involve yourself in. First off, it's a victimless crime. But second.
It can be a victimless crime. R.I.P. Lil Peep. R.I.P. Juice. Juice WRLD. That's all I gotta say. It can be a victimless crime. Depends on the drug dealer. Depends on whether or not they're doing fuck shit to the drugs. Depends on whether or not they enforce their fucking terms. Yeah, I may not come after you for some weed or even some coke, but if you was trying to kill a motherfucker unjustly on some shit because you think he was standing on your corner and you think you're getting away with that, I'm gonna shove those fucking drugs down your goddamn throat, motherfucker. I'll make you swallow that weed. I don't care if it is just weed. You're not killing a motherfucker. Okay? Yeah, I would involve myself on a weed dealer if he was going around fucking lacing his shit with fentanyl. For sure. Be lucky I didn't shove that down his throat. The only reason why I wouldn't, because I know it'd kill him. Swallowing some weed, he'll live.
Second off, for all.
Unless it's the weed, unless it's some of the weed that he laced. At which point I wouldn't do it.
All you know, you could be interrupting a sting operation that police have been doing for months. Or
I don't give a fuck if your sting operation gets fucking interrupted if it means saving a life. Months of us fucking what? Of doing fucking what? For months? Watching this guy deal drugs. For months. What are you waiting for the kingpin to show up? Why don't you go fucking find him? You just been sitting out the dealer's fucking house. You ain't gonna find nothing there. You gonna follow him to the fucking head fucking guy and then you're gonna watch him. You're not fucking just sitting out at the drug dealer's fucking house the whole time. I mean, maybe if you're waiting to fucking find him, to be able to maybe, you know, find the drug dealer, to find the kingpin, you know what I mean, and follow him the next day. Maybe you get unlucky and it's on the same night. But again, you're engaging in like, by then, fucking, well, to be fair, it would probably be for the best in my scenario. If he's lacing his drugs with fentanyl, for one, you could get him on drug dealing charges, on two, attempted murder or reckless manslaughter. you know, or something for fucking, or if he intentionally did, I don't know what the intentional one would be for that. Knowing that it would make it a bit more addictive, but putting too much, maybe. It would depend on the particular circumstance. Like, but I would definitely be fucking paying that guy a visit to find out whether or not he meant to or not. Especially if it was a friend of mine who ended up using the shit. Or me who was about to use the shit. Because at any minute, you could sell that shit to another person and they could end up dead. So I ain't fucking waiting for your goddamn sting operation. Sorry. My bad. But hey, we got the motherfucker. What does it matter? You got your evidence. You can put him away. I get to go home, have some ice cream. All right. We all go. We all good. All right. Like I said, if you don't go any further than the cops would with legal authority, in my opinion, you're justified. Especially if it's in the pursuit of saving a life directly. Usually, if it's your life, you can't justify it as much to, like, break into somewhere to stop somebody. But if it's somebody else, like a kid that you can hear screaming in somebody's basement, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be, it's justified for you to kick down that door while your wife calls the cops. Like, if you can see through the window barely that this guy's undressing on a bed next to her, fucking, yeah, maybe we shouldn't wait the 10 minutes, because that little girl might not have 10 minutes, okay? Sorry. This is why they allow exceptions to the rule in the law, because they understand circumstances aren't always perfect.
You just get yourself shot in a situation like that for months. Or you just get yourself shot in a
What the fuck did you think this shit was about, motherfucker? When I first signed on to this shit, I had the mentality that I was just gonna take on every motherfucker I could until they fucking killed me. What do you mean? Oh, you just get yourself shot. No shit, Sherlock. What do you think we're here for? We're here because we're willing to do the things that others are not willing to do. Because we're willing to put our lives on the line to do what's right. And though I started out with a very toxic mindset, and I say this in the other video as well, I would never condone having that mindset as a hero. You should definitely not be running in guns blazing just hoping to die. Later, it became more about the heroism and making a difference in my life with it. But at first, that is what got me into it. But even then, I wasn't killing people. I didn't kill that guy who I headbutted off of me the first time. I didn't kill a single one of them. I went out of my way not to kill them. But I still call myself a vigilante because that's what I am, technically. I don't know where this disconnect from hero to vigilantes can be heroes or anti-heroes. Those are two different categories of vigilantism. Just like I would say you could have a fucking hero doctor and a villain doctor who's actually experimenting on all her patients or his patients or fucking Dr. Frankenstein type shit. Like, not every doctor's a fucking hero. Okay, so why are you acting like vigilantism's any different? There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And then there's a mixed bag way of doing things where it's like, yeah, we're kind of doing what should kind of probably be done, but we're pretty did you really have to skin the guy alive? You know what I mean? Did you really have to make it slow? You know what I mean? Maybe you shouldn't be enjoying killing the people that you're putting down. Maybe it wouldn't be seeming as psychotic. Frank! But you know, I'm just saying. I've never killed anybody and I'm still a vigilante. I'm just saying. They don't even break the law. I don't know where you all got this disconnect from. I really don't. I don't know what media did this, what did. Maybe you watched too much conservative stuff as a kid. Maybe you paid too much attention to James and the fucking from Batman or whatever, Amanda Waller from the DC universe. Okay, I don't know who fucking planted that chip into your brain, but you need to get it the fuck out.
situation like that, it would be better to gather as much information you can than report that rather than jump in guns blazing with no guns.
It depends on the scenario and it depends on the situation. If there's not enough time for the cops to show up and the cops can't show up without a proper warrant, guess it would depend on circumstances. Like, what if you want to find out if whether or not it was an accident or not? What if you don't know if the drug was laced or not, and you need to find out first before you can, call up the authorities? You know what I mean? Did this guy purposely put shit on my weed, or did he accidentally sell me some shit that he bought from somebody who wasn't trustworthy and resold to me? You know what I mean? That's where, like, I'd, like, walk that line, but I wouldn't just go in either guns blazing or right to snitching. It would depend on whether I'd have to talk to the person first, pay him a visit. And that doesn't mean I gotta break into his house and go full Batman. I could just go to his house and be like, yo, dude, you sold me some fucked shit. What's up? Just saying. And hell, I could just record the conversation and be like, yeah, I did. I wanted your ass to die. Fuck you. And slam the door. Now I got a recording of him saying that shit. Now I can call the cops. Again, you don't need to go full Batman to be a vigilante. You just have to not be a fucking idiot.
You shouldn't have guns. I mean, that's generally the kind of thing you should be doing anyways. That and DS...
Wait, hold on.
Guns blazing. Well, no guns. You shouldn't have guns.
Depends on the type of gun you want. They make BB bag guns that don't actually kill people. They just hurt like a motherfucker. So technically, you could have a gun. You just can't have a, ballistic firearm. You know what I mean? You just want a BB gun. Or a BB gun. You can still, like, take somebody's eye out with a BB gun. But as long as you're not aiming for the face, it just hurts like a motherfucker. But that's going to be useless. You'd be better off with the bean bags. Because at least then, if you really needed to, and a big guy just fucking right to the forehead might knock him out. You know what I mean? But if you're willing to punch somebody and they fall to the ground and crack their head, it wouldn't matter whether you did it with a BB gun or whether it was the ground that cracked their head after you punched them. That's still, like, you still injured them in some way. You know what I mean? So, it's just whether or not how fucking stupid you are. Again, depending on whether or not you're fucking stupid. No shit, Sherlock. If you're trying to be a hero and you don't want to kill people, probably shouldn't be shooting them in the face with a fucking gun. No shit.
I mean, that's generally the kind of thing you should be doing anyways. That and de-escalation, because you do not...
There's finally some actual truth in here. De-escalation! The pacifist, the talk no jutsu, makes its appearance finally. We can talk about how I actually approach things. As, depending on circumstance, it depends on this response that I will give. If I think talking somebody down is going to work, I always go for that first, usually. However, if I go into a situation and I know this motherfucker can't be talked down, usually I'm not going to bother with it. Sometimes I'll just go straight to the intimidation because that will work just as well. For like, remember earlier when I said 8 out of 10? Yeah, I'd say about, of those 8, 4 walked away because I de-escalated, the other 4 because I intimidated. So it's really like, it certainly depends on the circumstance of like, type of people and the environment you're in. Like, I would never be trying an actual gangbanger in the hood type shit, you know what I mean? But you could probably intimidate most normal citizens who don't know how to fight. You're probably going to get away with that a bit more, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, I know this guy probably could kill me, and he seems like it, but I know I could sweet talk him, you know what I mean? Get him on my side, better to have him as a friend than an enemy, you know what I mean? Type situation. But, like, the rest of them who do, like, when it comes to, like, the more we're about to be violent, I might try to stop that. But if we're talking about the guys who grab up on girls, well, I'm not going to be sweet-talking them as much. Because they may have the balls to put their hands on a girl, but that don't mean they got the balls to put their hands on me. So if I, warn them, and they can see that as inviting a fight if they want, legally they'd be wrong. And if they swing on me in that moment, that's just self-defense, boy. No defense of necessity. If I already saw you put your hands on that girl, I won't even need to fucking wait. Defense of necessity, motherfucker. If I gotta grab you to pull you off of her, that's legally justified. I only grabbed him in the attempt to get him off of her. If you said that in court, and the evidence provided it, and the girl who was attacked testified that you are telling the truth, you would be acquitted. You'd be innocent in the court of law. So again, like, it depends on how hard you go. You can't go any harder than the criminal you're trying to prevent. And almost always, it's more about the preventing the harm than fucking up the criminal. If you're focused on preventing the harm, even to the perpetrator trying to prevent harm. Like for me, I've thought about this again in another video, that like half the time I get into a fight, I don't even swing back. I just dance around and let them tire themselves out until the authorities show up or they're fucking tired enough to fucking stop, usually. And like over half my cases are probably like that, where I don't even bother swinging back. So once I know they swing on me, they just assaulted me. I don't need to defend myself, especially unless they continuously attack me. Then I just kind of dance around, or if I get backed into a corner, slide a chair in front of them and roll over the table. I pulled that one in like 10th grade? Yeah. Dude, I've done some wild shit. I don't know if I'm pretty sure this is Rush Hour. Maybe it was another Jackie Chan movie where there's a scene of Jackie Chan in some movie where he uses a lunch tray, the round lunch tray, as a shield. I literally used one of the red square ones as a shield in a fight once. Oh, he was pissed. He didn't even break the shit. It bent just enough to start a little white line, and then it stopped. And to be fair, those things were thicker than the boards that we practiced breaking in martial arts, so it was probably harder than it was to actually break those were. I wouldn't be surprised if he really put his hand up there. I was surprised he didn't. But that shit was so fucking funny, dude. Ugh, I don't want me to bring that up.
Have the legal amnesty to just start enforcing the law as escalation, because I mean that's generally the kind of thing you should be doing anyways.
Oh right, de-escalating and all that shit. That's what we were talking about. We don't always have to de-escalate. De-escalate it first, and then if they start doing some crazy shit, you can probably get away with intimidating in some situations. But it's also better just to say, always with the warning first, never with the threat. Just remember that, and don't invite a fight. That's all you gotta do. But you don't understand. Intimidation under the law is different than what a criminal will see as intimidation. You asking them to politely calm down might be intimidating to certain people in a certain mindset. So you just have to be careful on that. In my opinion, just always be ready just in case they're gonna swing, and don't take your eyes off them until they're out of the room, away from you. Okay, if you need an example, go ahead and look at my scar right here. When I tell you, do not take your eyes off of your opponent. If you're wondering how I got the scar, there you go. I took my eyes off the opponent.
De-escalate.
To be fair, I actually knew he wasn't going to swing, so it was even a dumber thing for me to take my eyes off of him, but I needed to move the girl out of the way that was in between us, so it was kind of something I couldn't help. So, it is what it is. They have to hit so others don't have to, right?
Because you do not have the legal amnesty to just start enforcing the law as you see fit. I know some of you.
To be fair, that's exactly what I did. It just happened to be that the law agrees with how I do it defaultly. My mind is like in a whole different mindset than most normal people's. So when I hear that, it's like, no shit, Sherlock. I've been doing this shit since I was 7, accidentally doing it the legal way. Okay, it's not rocket science, my friend. Don't get involved unless you think somebody's actually severely about to be hurt or killed. Which is why I always wait for a threat of bodily harm, verbally, like I'm gonna fuck you up, or I'm gonna kill you, and immediately, hi, nice to meet ya. Type of fucking, that's my cue to come in, to talk them away from them, so they're no longer targeting whatever victim, because I only go after unjustified fights, remember this from earlier, because I'm confident that I can hold myself in a fight with this person who is more my size than he is the victim's size, right? So, again, just replay that shit from earlier.
Maybe thinking, what if I just in there real quick and then I'm out of there and the cops will never know because I'm a badass.
You could try. If you're a billionaire and you're good enough at it, you probably get away with it, to be honest with you. Even if they did catch Bruce, he's got billions of dollars and everybody in the justice system is willing to take a bribe, so... that's just, that is the comic book world, but based off of recent events, not too far off from reality. Womp womp. Where's my sound effects? Where's the just some clip of the womp womp? Did you just fucking womp womp me? I need to play that clip.
Well, first off, probably not going to happen that way. And second off, without any context or information
Yeah, if you go that hard, you're probably either gonna end up dead, like he said, or locked up within your first year. Definitely.
for the cops showing up, all they've run into is somebody who's recently been assaulted. They don't know what the hell else was going on. You've just created more problems and let the perpetrator get away scot.
Wait a minute. What were the cops told? Do they just show up for no reason and there's a guy who's been assaulted? Why do you think we live anonymous? He doesn't even understand illegal vigilantism. Oh my god. Like, even if you, well, sorry, legal vigilantism, if you were to do this the right way, you could technically do that and just call in the tip and leave all the evidence, leave all the evidence there depending on the crime. Hell, if you have video proof, you could just leave the video recording. And like, oh, like I reacted to the second episode of The Arrow. He does this specifically. He records the confession and then shoots the arrow to disarm Laurel's dad, the cop, and he hits the glowing button and it plays the recording of the guy's confession. Technically, that cop didn't collect that evidence illegally. He just happened upon the evidence. Technically, that you would be, especially if it supports the crime he was already on trial for and it's a straight confession, chances are they might accept that into the court. We actually just learned this in Luigi's case, that they're allowing evidence that was taken, or his backpack was searched without a warrant, and they found the evidence that supported that he committed that crime in said backpack. So they tried to get it thrown out, and the court was like, there's an exception to that rule, even that rule, every rule, let's be honest, in that if the evidence was likely to have been found through legal means, meaning if they did have a warrant when they searched his backpack, they would have found it, it's allowed. And for a long time, I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. Apparently, you can't just collect evidence illegally, and if it does support a crime that we know happened for sure, and that you were already suspected of and already on trial for sure, that's a slam dunk. And now, this type of situation, you would have to show, well, like you could have a body cam footage and then leave behind the body cam footage for the cops to go through. You just have to turn on your camera when you go in and turn it off when you take it off to leave it for the cops. The only downside is you'd have to buy a new GoPro every time you took down a criminal. So, you know, that's why partly billionaires only do this shit. But yeah, even Batman was like, don't leave your shit behind. Go and pick up all your fucking batarangs. Go pick up all your fucking shit. Don't leave anything behind. No evidence for us. Evidence of the crime being committed, yes. But evidence that we were here, nobody will know it was us. Unless the cops showed up right before we got away and they saw us. Then they'll know it's us. Fuck. Which does happen occasionally. Like, Batman had to run from the cops in the past, you know. Simply because he broke the law in the Dark Knight movie when he technically killed, you know, fucking Two-Face or whatever to save the kid, which was 100% justified, legally speaking. And if Jim would have took that shot, ain't nobody chasing Jim Gordon to fucking goddamn, it would have been completely justified. Nobody would have fucking batted an eye on it. But because Batman, the vigilante, radical, violent criminal, finally crossed the line, it's too much. God forbid. You guys have higher standards than Bruce himself. And that's fucking saying something.
Free, because now they're a victim. This doesn't get people behind bars, it just leaves a breadcrumb trail for you to eventually get caught, which if you do it long enough, you're gonna get caught. Now, point is, there is a right way to do this that actually...
To be fair, there was one person who did technically almost put it all together. But I could have just told him, I don't know, dude, I got unlucky. And I was just honest with him because I knew I could trust him. If not for me willing to trust him, he wouldn't have ever have known I had the intent of being this world's Batman. Just like nobody else in my life knew this. Yeah, they knew I had a vendetta against bullies. And that, you know, when I saw a bully fucking with somebody, I might stick up for them. And that was the full extent of it. They didn't know I was actually, you know, most of my friends don't even know I'm a black belt in martial arts. Because I never talked about it, you know? I never showed really fully, even people that I fully trusted, my intent behind it all. This is why we kind of why I originally thought I had to hide it as much, but then once I realized, wait, I accidentally danced into the legal way of doing this shit just by being partly a pacifist. You know, I don't like to be violent, and I'll make that case in court while I'm there. Yeah, I'm a pacifist. I don't even like killing insects. You think I'm going to be at risk of killing somebody? You think I'd be engaging in this shit if I thought I couldn't control myself after 20 fucking years of proving I can control myself after 56 perpetrators? At least a couple of which I could have justified breaking severely to the point where they didn't walk the rest of their life, but did I? No, because that would have been legally not justified. Legally speaking. No matter if he put his hands on his mom's sister and tried to hit some white girl at school. No matter. Legally speaking. Not justified.
Actually ends up being helpful rather than just creating more victims. We help victims, we don't create them.
Ooh. Oh god, I want to say some unhinged shit, but I'm really holding it in. I'm about to make a victim. Oh! Oh! No shit, Sherlock! Do you think holding somebody responsible for committing a crime victimizes them? Oh my god, no wonder why we let a dictator take over. They probably think fucking holding up the signs is an act of vigilante justice at this point. I can't. You said mean things. How dare you become the anti-hero? You could have been the hero. Fuck the fat McDouble oven fuck. I don't care. Fuck him. And fuck whoever thinks like this about vigilante heroes or any heroes or superheroes, okay? If this is how the whole fucking real life superhero community is, just stick to what you know and stick to what you're doing, alright? Please don't go out and actually try to be a fucking vigilante. You will get yourselves killed. No guns, guys. Jesus Christ. Martial arts, sure. For when you run out of ammo, maybe. Like, I don't know what. Like, if I'm not going to war without a gun, maybe fighting crime to some extent I'll do without a gun. But if I'm going to a war, I'm bringing some kind of fucking weapon with me. I don't care if it's my knives, my swords, my fucking guns. I might bring all fucking three if I'm going all out. I'm bringing all three. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Okay, if I'm being met with deadly force, no kill shots? Shit, that's easy. I've trained it my whole life. I know where every fucking major artery is in the fucking body. You don't think I know where not to aim? Not my fault they leave the most fucking vulnerable arteries exposed in their fucking body armor, alright? That's why I'll just shoot them in the body armor to fucking slow them down. Why risk them bleeding out? Just shoot them in the chest 3 times where the bullet plate is. That way it just knocks them to the ground and wins them. And again, I wouldn't even use a real gun. I'd just use a not BB gun, beanbag gun. Because those are actually pretty fucking, they are like a motherfucker. I mean, I'm sure they do. I feel like I'd be the equivalent of me slingshotting a fucking rock at you. You know what I mean? I think that's more than enough.
Understand? And I know some of you may be thinking, well then what's the point of the costume? Superheroes fake crime. Well, because this isn't some cosplay power fantasy. That's not...
Cosplay is... Okay, he's rage baiting me. Is this guy rage bait? I'm being rage baited, aren't I? I'm being rage baited. Holy fucking shit. Am I being... I didn't watch this far into the video. Like I said, I didn't make it more than 5 minutes into this video. This is all new shit to me. What the fuck? You think we're the ones cosplaying? I don't even own a suit, motherfucker! You're the one in the suit! I don't even wear the mask! It was just in case of emergencies! If the purge broke out and I needed a secret identity, or I needed the extra intimidation factor. Meanwhile, oh, don't have intimidating outfits because then you won't be, like, approachable for people. Well, it depends on what you're going for. Are you here to fight crime or are you here to be people's friend? Depending on what we're doing here and how hard we're going, this is why I don't even bother wearing the mask most of the time, because usually you don't have to be Batman. But this idea that, like, you're not a vigilante. First off, you're a vigilante. Stop acting like you're not. If you engage in any law enforcement-like behavior without legal authority, and yes, patrolling your neighborhoods to intimidate crime is an act of law enforcement. That's that textbook definition. Cops go on patrol to keep, intimidating people too. They do the same exact shit. You're literally... I can't, bro. This guy was in the military. I don't even know if that's true now. He showed a picture, but now I'm not out of it. Could be AI. Could have been an AI photo for all I know. I don't know the fucking difference. I guess it's getting too good to know now. This could all just be AI. This might just be an AI rage bait.
The real world. There are so many more problems in the world than just having to punch some guy who stole something useless. There's
Again. Superhero patrolling for vandals. Vigilante of 20 years who only goes after violent offenses if unjustified. Where do you people get this fucking disconnect? Where did you hear this? Ugh. I don't even know. I don't think I can watch the rest of this video. I'll make it a couple more minutes, but if it keeps going down, I don't know if I can. I've already been recording this for fucking 2.5 hours. I don't know how I've taught that much, but I'm not even 10 minutes into this video.
so many smaller problems in the world, and you're likely to actually run into those, unlike running into an actual felony crime that you could intervene in, because that's just pretty unlikely.
I never want to hear people meme about Batman going after petty crime after this. Or any crime. All of you just need to, even the people who write the live action shit, unless you're a comic book writer, you just need to shut the fuck up. Okay? Or maybe the cartoons, the animated movies and shows, you guys are fine. Anything live action, cancel. Cancel everything. Cancel everything, because I already know the next 5 years of vigilante superhero media is going to be the most dog shit thing we've ever experienced in humanity. If this is the route we're going. Nobody has a proper concept of vigilante justice. At all. How can you write a superhero fighting crime, but not want your superhero who fights crime to not be a vigilante? It's a good thing I don't own a gun. I might shoot myself. Oh my god. Oh god. It's bad enough I have the katana laying next to my fucking bed, okay? I don't need a fucking gun. And it's not because it's immoral, it's because I don't need the gun. I've proved that at least the last 15 years, ever since the first time I said that. Jesus Christ. He could have really did a really good concept of the video here, but he's I don't know what we're gonna call this. Superhero pilled? What do we call this? This is actual. Anybody who does a good act is technically a hero. Can that be one of Messiah complexes? Is that Messiah complex? I can't. I thought I had that shit bad. Please do not let the smoking of the weed perceive that I am in a bad mood right now. I'm actually feeling pretty damn good about myself. I truly thought that I had an ego. I truly thought that maybe I was just gassing myself up. Maybe I'm just me. Maybe it's my fucked up childhood. But then maybe it was just they didn't explain it to me. Maybe it's because I was a kid. Maybe it was because of one of those things. But then, Skyline, please don't. Please don't. I already added your white. Oh yeah, I already did. I already added your fucking board to my whiteboard. By the way, again, if you missed that part, justifications for my existence. Privately, publicly, adult vigilante, child vigilante, all my excuses go on that whiteboard. Every last justification I have. And your board right there, fucking on it.
Most people don't like doing crime when somebody else is in the area, you know? Hell, most of the worst crimes happen within somebody's household in which you're not going to be there. Because why would you be in somebody else's house? That doesn't make sense.
This crime happens in a house. Why would you bother going on patrol ever then? You're the one going on patrol, my dude. Again, I've never gone on patrol in my fucking life. Oh god, I swear I wasn't trying to be mean, but at this point I can't not just be honest. And it's gonna come off like I'm a dick. And I'm so sorry, Skyline, but it just can't. You're just falling so flat here, dude. If you ever need some actual pointers about the fucking vigilante superhero shit, like, you know, give me a call. Jesus. Oh my god. And you'd think you talked to enough of those other people in the communities that you would have learned this lesson already. But I'm wondering how many of them have the same misconception. Do they think that they're not vigilantes even though they still, like, fight crime when needed? Like, any of the fighting crime would to make you a fucking vigilante. That's an act of vigilante justice. How can you not be a vigilante if you're engaging in vigilante justice? How? It just blows my mind. Oh god, I just can't. This is why I need to make my own shit. I just need to start fresh start for the vigilante community. Oh my god.
Here, sitting in your tights, waiting to go punch somebody for your moment in the spotlight. Somebody over there is overdosing. Somebody over here is starving.
Somebody who's overdosing inside their house that you wouldn't know about because you're not allowed in their house. Dumbass. Do you think we're gonna be? We can't be everywhere for fucking crime, but we could be everywhere for every other bad thing that fucking happens. Why do you think vigilantism exists? Oftentimes, because the system isn't fucking there. There's no cops around and there's no time to call the fucking cops and wait 10 minutes for this guy who is less than 5 feet from me coming at me with a knife saying, I'm gonna stab you, motherfucker. Fucking shoot, come here. Fucking, I don't have time to call the fucking cops in that moment. I'm engaging in vigilante justice when I enforce the law of preventing this crime from happening against me. Where do you all get this disconnect that vigilantisms have to be criminals, that they have to be antiheroes, but also antiheroes don't exist, only villains exist, so if they're an antihero, they're actually a villain? Okay. I thought I overthought this shit pacing around for 8 hours a day as a fucking kid. Jesus. I'm feeling real good about myself right now. I'm sorry if it comes to the extent of bullying you slightly, Skyline. It's, again, nothing personal, but this is a misconception a lot of fucking people have, I've noticed, and it's all coming out in this video. Well, in the other video I made, but this one is more present because it's more vigilante related than the other video was.
And could use a meal. Maybe there's a teenager who could use some kind words to not end their life. Hell.
Also, thinking that these things are exclusive, by the way. Aren't the superheroes who also do these things the people who inspire you to said go do those things? So why can't I crack skulls and stop the kid from killing himself and stop the guy from ODing and buy a homeless guy sandwich while I'm out on patrol? Because that's literally what you're trying to do. but for minor shit that you know won't result in more likely to be violent outcomes, thus why vandalism and litter is what you're going after. Those are like historically non-violent crimes. And it's not because you couldn't justify going after a felony, it's because those are the safest ones to go after. And that's honestly the vibe I'm getting right now. And just like the rest of humanity, the fucking bare minimum. Sorry, I came out like I'm a dick again. But the fact you stop where I start just says it all. But the problem is, I started with vigilantism, but because of my pacifism, I was always more of a compassionate person. And I always felt bad for people because of some bad stuff that happened to me, or because I know a lot of bad stuff happens, and it's better if I want to cause more good than bad. Even if it was just me doing the good originally, that's how it felt, because I didn't have any friends at the time who would have my back in a fight yet. And I was genuinely the only good person I knew for like the first fucking year, until my friend proved himself in having my back in a fight. And I'm like, oh shit. Another good, decent person, finally! You're not just gonna fucking stand by and let some fuck shit happen. Whether we're legally justified or not. It depends on how fucking far down the immoral rabbit hole you want to jump down. Looking at you, Trump.
Maybe there's an old grandma who could barely see and is having a very hard time getting across the road, you know?
Same with that! Fucking, oh my god. Pull up Batman Rebirth. Is it Rebirth? Where Damien's first outing on patrol. Pull that up. Look that shit up. Look that shit up. Now, if you don't want to go look it up, I'll save you some time. Basically, he was told when he dropped him off on patrol, you can be back to the Batcave before sunrise. And then left. That was an implication that there was a time limit and you should be back by sunrise. There isn't actually a time limit, by the way. He's just supposed to think there's a timeline. Or a time he has to be there by. And he starts rushing through the city, taking on as much crime as he can as he goes along. But then he keeps coming across these non-criminal situations, helping a lady walk across the street. Stopped when he saw a guy was stepping onto the ledge of a building, looking down at it like he was getting some not okay ideas. And even stopped and had a cup of tea with the guy before continuing to fight crime in the rest of the city. And he didn't get back till at least a couple hours after sunrise. And when he got back, he said, "I'm sorry. I failed. I didn't get back before sunrise." And Alfred looks at Bruce and goes, "Did you tell him there was a time limit?" I may have implied it. Bruce is such a fucking dick. But the point of it was, Alfred points out that, hey, it's not about whether you got back fast enough. The first time your father went out, he didn't come back for 3 days. Because he couldn't stop. He just kept going crime after crime or helping person after helping person. And we watched on the cameras. We saw what you did. You did the right thing. Prioritizing those lives over the fucking time limit of some bullshit challenge that your dad is challenging you to or implied. You know what I mean? It didn't matter if he lost the challenge as long as he was helping those people. And that definitionally is a vigilante who does more than just cracking skulls. Now, anti-heroes are the vigilantes that don't give a fuck about saving other people's lives. They will if it's convenient to them or makes them look good or they get paid to do so. That's usually the anti-hero way. But heroes are typically doing it because we want to. He didn't have to stop and help the old lady. That was the most, bullshit one. That's actually where I learned the lesson of, like, we don't take tips and we don't take payment for it. Because when he got the $5 from the old lady, Bruce took it from him and said, we don't take tips, and put it in a jar to be a momentum of when he literally stopped crime fighting so he could help some old lady across the street. And that was a lesson that was meant to be taught to Damien specifically because of his upbringing in the League of Assassins. He needed to be taught it's not just all about the crime fighting. There are people that you should care about. And we know you're a big softie when it comes to animals. So if you see enough of the good in humanity, you'll think of them the same. But like this idea that because even Damien's like the worst case scenario, this kid was raised an assassin and then turned vigilante. Like he's by every definition an anti-hero turned hero, and he didn't need to be killed off in order to do it. Destiny. That'll be more relevant in his video when he talks about the shit, but you get what I mean. This idea that vigilantism is inherently immoral it needs to be thrown out of people's minds permanently.
Some cities have heaps of trash that everybody complains about, but nobody wants to do anything about. Or the millions of people who could use the hope for a better tomorrow with instilling them. And how some cities have heaps of trash that everybody complains about, but nobody wants to do anything about. Or the millions of people who could use the hope for a better tomorrow with instilling them with strength today. But no. Ignore all that. That's not what superheroes do.
Wait, that's like in all of our media. How many superheroes are in that real life superhero community of yours? Because when I watched your Iceberg, I heard definitely less than 100 names in the real life superhero community out of 7 billion people. Now this plays into my worldview that being selfless is an exception to humanity's rule. And it actually, the community in real life actually supports that as well. Because look how many people are just willing to do the right thing, let alone do it as like a superhero type shit. And they're not even fully going full force like a vigilante, like full-on vigilante. They won't even call themselves vigilantes, even though they're engaging in vigilante justice. Somehow that works in their brain, but I don't, Jesus Christ, where are we even? Where am I? This was the best timeline. Oh God. Oh God, this was the best. For me, that is. This was the best timeline. Fuck me.
You're just gonna wait around in your tights for some miscellaneous bad guy you're probably never going to meet so you could punch him and get on the news. Great job.
Don't you guys literally get on the news just for picking up the trash and helping the homeless people? It is not that hard to get on the news, my dude. I wouldn't be surprised if most of you guys call those news stations to come down there to see you do it, honestly, at this point.
See the problem? Yeah, that's exactly the problem. There's a lot of problems. A lot of people want to
No shit, Sherlock. Just like you can't save everybody and you can't solve every crime, doesn't mean you can't stop every bad thing in the world from happening. That's why we inspire people to do what you can where you can, There's that whole scene in Boondocks where I think it's Huey. Is it Huey who asks Granddad? Yeah. What do you do when you can't, or maybe it's Riley. I can't remember now which one asked Granddad. One of the two asked Granddad. He was like, what do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do? And Granddad gave the fucking most base piece of advice and just went, then you do what you can. And I think that's literally the same I would give advice to vigilantes. You won't save everybody. You won't be able to catch every criminal. You won't be able to do all the good and stop all the bad. Don't obsess yourself to that point where perfection is ever infested in it. Perfection is just a made up perception of like what life could be. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody is a perfect person. Nothing is perfect. We all strive to be the best we can, and that's the best we get, right? LeBron James is not a perfect basketball player. He has missed shots. Okay? But he is certainly the best. If not, definitely top 5 or top 3 at least. I don't know enough about basketball. I don't know how many or who is in the top 5, whatever. I know like Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. That's all I know. But these are definitely like the best players that we know of because their record shows it. These guys were fucking nuts. Reinvented half the fuck time of reinventing the game on the fucking court, boy. Doing some shit motherfuckers could only dream of. You know what I mean? And they were legends because of it. Long-winded way of saying, this guy is just, he needs to stop talking about all this. It's just going down such a far down the rabbit hole that like...
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. There's a lot of problems.
No shit. Like, vigilantes exist because the system itself can't always be there. That's why I ended up having to defend myself, and I've ended up helping and defend others and then teaching them how to defend themselves. Like, that's what I would encourage you to do more. You can be a vigilante hero and not do picking up a litter or giving stuff to the homeless. It's definitely a good thing you should be doing. I definitely would encourage it. If I could afford to do it, I'd fucking do it. My ass so goddamn broke, fucking.
A lot of people want to be the hero. They want the glamour in their hero moment. They want to be a star. And so while they're too busy focusing on something that'll make them be a star by stopping some large, big-scale crime, they're ignoring all these other...
Is that what he thinks vigilantes are? Like, that we just... Bro. I can't say anything now because I've made a YouTube channel to educate people on this, but this guy literally made a YouTube channel to showcase his vigilantism. I talk about my vigilantism, but I certainly wouldn't, like, wear the body cam during a sexual assault case so y'all can follow me around while we deal with this. Like this is the reason why I have a policy of not telling other people's cases. When it's my cases, sure, because it's my own personal shit. But when it's other people's cases, I oftentimes just avoid talking about it unless I could talk about it in enough ambiguity, that, you know, people can't identify the people I'm talking about. But some cases I can't do that because they were very public things that happened sometimes, and there was other witnesses who might be willing to fuck around, find out, and do some dumb shit. But other times there were no witnesses, so it's hard to talk about those ones even because I can't have anybody back it up on that, but I can't have anybody back up me up on those stories because I can't have these people potentially fucking revealed, so I just don't talk about it at all. Just, it's a good policy. Talk about my own trauma, that's fine. I'm not selling out other people's.
Smaller ones that are right there to be solved. If you can solve it, then it's your responsibility to do so. Great power, great responsibility.
I swear to God, this motherfucker did not just logic my logic against me. This is literally, I haven't made this video yet, but when I went through the fucking first arc of questioning whether or not I should remain a vigilante because most people were not in favor of me playing the hero because I'm a know-it-all and I'm causing trouble, even though I was just, you know, preventing actual harm from befalling other people or myself. They can call me troubled all they fucking want when they're the ones standing around not doing their jobs and I have to do it for them. They can call me whatever the fuck they want. I don't care. Again, the mentality of whether or not you care more about the legal system thinking you're a fucking good person or whether or not you're actually a good person. And this is why we need to knock out that perception that vigilantism is inherently unethical, because it's not. Like, you can engage in vigilantism legally if you're smart enough and know enough about the law and you're educated enough and you're not stupid or out of control or fucking off your shit.
But no, you're a superhero. You're too good for that.
I'm not the one who caught. Did he just wait? Is he not talking about vigilantes anymore? I swear to God, he was just complaining about vigilantes and how they're only focused on fighting the crime, but then he definitely used the word superhero, right? You think, oh, I'm a superhero. I thought vigilantes could be superheroes or heroes in general. Where are we at on this now? What the fuck?
Ignore all that. That's not what superheroes do. You're just gonna wait around in your tights for some miscellaneous bad superheroes do. No. Ignore all that. That's not what superheroes do. You're just gonna wait around in your tights for some miscellaneous bad guy you're probably never gonna meet so you could punch him and get on the news. Great job. Do you see the problem?
Says the ones who are only willing to fight the drunk guys. Fuck out of here with your bitch-made ass.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. There's a lot of problems.
Oh no, the raccoon knocked over the trash can. Get him! Tonight! Oh, fucking! See, I'm doing it! Oh, I can't, dude. I can't. I'm gonna lose it. I can't stop the video. I'm gonna be so mean. Getting my fucking water. This will be in the next video, but I just have to emphasize it in this one. Because I talk about this in the next video about how Congress needs to do their job and go after Trump and before he gets away with it. Because God forbid it's left to the superhero community in this world. Oh God. We're so fucked. I plea for my life in that next video you'll see next week, or maybe I'll upload it later this week or some shit. In the Destiny video. I plea for my life that you fucking do your jobs. Because now that I see this, I realize now I probably will be the only one willing to be Batman in order to save this fucking world at this point. What the literal fuck? Holy fucking shit. Like I said, what they're doing is good and fine, but why are you villainizing going further than that? Which is no further than what a cop would do.
See, a lot of people want to be the hero. They want the glamour in their hero moment. They want to be a star. And so while they're too busy focusing on something that'll make them be a star by stopping some large, big-scale crime, they're ignoring all these other smaller ones that are right there to be solved. If you...
I literally shit-talked bullies for fun, okay? Don't come out here and telling me we don't care about the petty little shit, motherfucker. To be fair, we do let... You said don't get involved with the fucking drug dealing. What the fuck? Oh my God. You can fight crime, but only the crimes that don't involve saving people's lives or solving an actual crime or problem solving. Like, how are you gonna get this guy out of his house or collect evidence against him? I don't know, go undercover and buy drugs from him? Then go right to the cops and say, yeah, I went undercover, here are the drugs I bought from him. He's definitely a drug dealer, go get him. And you could just explain you're a PI and I wanted to know for sure if he was selling drugs before I called all of you and he flushed the fucking shit down the toilet. Here's the evidence. And I came right here after I bought it. He's at this address. Legally speaking, that's completely justified. So if you did really want to get a drug dealer arrested, it's fairly fucking easy. You just gotta buy drugs from him. So as long as you don't come across as a narc, you can just actually buy the jewel. I have to actually buy the drugs on them, though. So, good luck with that. Pretty sure it's okay. I don't think it matters if you purchase drugs. I think it's only if you are in possession of drugs, illegal drugs, with the intent of use or selling. So if you don't intend on using it, and you don't intend on selling it, and you know, hopefully you don't get pulled over on the way to the police station, and you go straight to the police station, or go straight home and call the cops and have them come to your house, like, legally, that'd be justified. You can hand the drugs right over to them, say, yeah, I purchased it from this guy, he lives at this apartment, at this address, right down the street from here. One of my buddies just OD'd on his shit, go get him. Right? You could do that. That's completely legal. Well, maybe not the purchasing of drugs, but for preventing people from dealing drugs that could lead to life-ending harm, I'd say is definitely more harm than buying the drugs. If it's, again, a victimless crime, remember that? Coming back all full circle again, ain't it? If it's a victimless crime, shit. Then it wouldn't matter if I bought or sold it then. Jesus.
can solve it, then it's your responsibility to do so. Great power, great responsibility. But no, you're a superhero. You're too good for that. Shut up. In fact, Phoenix Jones set a precedent here. Your ability to do so. Great power, great responsibility. But no, you're a superhero. You're too...
I swear to God, was he not he was talking in the context of being a vigilante and only worrying about going against serious crime. Like, was he not? That's what he's talking about. And now he's talking like it's superheroes who only fight serious crime.
Great power, great responsibility. But no.
You have no idea what the fuck that means, by the way. Jesus Christ. Like, when I said you should be, why should I still be a hero? And I saw that movie for the first time, and I heard that iconic line for the first time. That just computed into my mind, oh, because I can, and I'm probably one of the, well, I am the only person I know who would be willing to, so I probably should. The problem is with that is, like, you believe everybody could have that mindset to the extent that we do, but you're conflating good acts with acts of vigilantism or heroism. You're conflating these three different categories, and this is why you have a bit of a misinformed view on it. You're taking three different categories and you're kind of mixing it together, but also trying to somewhat take it apart. It's very confusing, my friend. You should have just kept this separate.
But no, you're a superhero. You're too good for that.
You're the one involving the superhero stuff and the vigilante crime fighting into what you could just be doing by doing good acts. And you can inspire other people without a gimmick. I've been doing it my whole career as a vigilante, sometimes through my vigilantism, sometimes through just being a decent person. I've had those conversations where one of my friends would be like fucking saying the N-word when he's not the black, and you'd have to have that conversation of, hey man, it's not really cool for you to just be saying that like the way you're doing it. It's, you know, it's not cool. Right? And then these people come back to me a year later and thank me that all of their friends that abandoned them now came back because they no longer say the N-word. Like, it's not just about, you know, crime fighting and stuff, but that just usually comes out of the fact that we're usually the hero type. It depends, you know, vigilante, on whether or not you'll be willing to do that stuff. If you're a vigilante hero, you're more than likely to do that stuff, because anybody who strives to be the hero will probably more than likely have some level of, you know, compassion or empathy for people. No? Like, it's not just like vigilantes only worry about crime, and even when we're doing that, that's oftentimes our compassion and our empathy, because we know what it's like oftentimes to get hurt in a crime and to not have justice sought from it. That's why vigilantes like me or Bruce are oftentimes the most obsessed, you know, and why, you know, Clark may not go as hard, you know what I mean? Despite the fact he definitely has the power that he could go harder than Batman, you know? It also depends on our own jurisdictions. Do you have 8% crime in Smallville, or do you have fucking 80% of the populace committing crime in Gotham City? These are two completely different environments, and probably one is more than justified to have some vigilante justice happening with it, especially with the justice system and all that shit. Fucking, I already talked about it.
Shut up. In fact, Phoenix Jones set a precedent for this, going around bars late at night so he can beat up some drunk people. And he would call that heroism, but then people actually going out and helping people who need the help, oh, those are real-life sandwich handlers.
Wait a minute, wasn't he a part of your guys' community to begin with, and then he started to do the bar fighting shit? So you're willing to... He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. I didn't want to be mean. I don't want to be that guy. How did I end up the bully? I spent over half my adolescence beating the fuck out of bullies, and somehow along the way it happened. The Dark Knight was right. Oh no. Oh no. No. I literally shit on that movie because that line is so stupid, but it literally is about to become true. Oh my god, I'm about to become the villain. Because I didn't die, I'm about to become the villain. And you're gonna make me, Skyline. It's gonna be your fault. I'm kidding, that was a joke. I'm fine. It's just, I have way more work than I thought I had to do before. I thought at least maybe the real-life superhero community would have a good concept of vigilante and vigilante justice. But even if people like Skyline, who are pretending to be superheroes, don't even understand what vigilante justice actually is, we're fucked, dude. Shout out to whoever invented these. I'm not sponsored, but whoever invented these, shout out to you. Just trying to lighten the mood a little bit. I think it's just, I don't even know if I can finish this video at this point. I don't know if I should. I think I've already said everything I need to say. I'm just gonna start repeating myself at this point. I'm tempted just in case there's something else, but I've already been going for 3 hours. And I haven't even scratched fucking 10 minutes of, yeah, I have just over 10 minutes of this 42-minute video. It's just, all of it can be, you can pretty much just, whatever this all was, throw it out. I'll make I'll make one for you guys, okay? First off, the difference between superhero and hero. Do you have superpowers? No? Then you're not a fucking superhero. No, I am being a dick about it. You're just a hero. Masked hero. Masked vigilante hero. That's what Batman is. Despite not wearing a mask, that's what Superman is considered. And everybody else. Maybe not Green Lantern. Because he's technically an intergalactic cop. He has legal authority at some level. So technically he's not a vigilante. But the rest of them, yeah. All of them are vigilantes, technically. Like, Wonder Woman coming onto, like, sovereign territory and fighting crime, that's definitely vigilantism. She definitely doesn't have any legal authority to enforce another country's law. Like, and she's not. She's upholding what is morally right, which is where vigilantism is the gray area. We'll sacrifice legality to uphold morality. Fuck your goddamn borders. If it saves a life, I could give two shits. It isn't just about, oh, we need to prevent the crime. No, this guy literally mass killed people. We're not letting him get away. I don't care if I gotta go to China and grab his ass myself on some Dark Knight shit. I'll bring him back, kicking and screaming. And you can charge me with a kidnapping crime, and I'll happily serve a year or 2 in prison for that. As long as a mass murderer gets locked up alongside me. I'm fine with it. Depending on the mass murderer. Like, if Joker went all the way to China, do you think Bruce would actually let him get away? He didn't even let that one Asian guy get away in The Dark Knight. You think he's letting Joker get away? Ha! You wish. Now, like I've said before, many times before, this does not give you a free pass to just commit every fucking heinous act, crime, and immoral behavior you've ever fucking thought of. Okay? If you still want to be a hero, you still have to have some kind of morality. Okay? You want to be an anti-hero? You're fucking psycho anyways. You're probably crazy. You probably should seek some help. And if you do pull that trigger, from here on out, you're gonna have more than the cops to worry about. Because after this, I'll do my whole own vigilante community from the ground up if need be. Because we might just need to at this point. From everything I heard in the other videos and the icebergs to this, there's only like probably on one hand any actual real vigilante engaging to the point where people are now knowing of them. Me being one of them. Maybe the devil might be a bit different. I don't know enough about him, though. Does he stop only at misdemeanors? If he came across a felony, would he even involve himself? Would this guy involve himself? Because when you need to, depending on the crime you're preventing, it doesn't matter whether it's a misdemeanor or whether it's a felony. Whether or not, it would matter whether or not somebody's going to get hurt. And whether or not you can justify that under defense of necessity if you had a reasonable suspicion somebody was going to be severely hurt or killed. Okay? That is the justification you need. Self-defense, it's the same concept but for yourself instead of another person. You know, it's basic shit. 7-year-old pacifists could come up with the same system. It's not rocket science. And there is always an exception to every rule. Remember that. Maybe one day we might actually get out of this toxic, dumbass view of, oh, you did the right thing, but in the wrong way, therefore you're no longer the right person or the good person, and therefore, depends on whether or not you care about legally or morally speaking. If you only cared about the legality, sure. In some cases. That's why I only resort to that in the absolute last ditch effort, and why I plead for Congress to just use their authority to deal with Donald Trump so I don't have to. Like, It's like if there's other avenues we can go down, usually we go for those, at least in my vigilante practice. Now, I know people consider Luigi and Tyler vigilantes, and even I've made jokes about technically they've engaged in at least one act of kind of vigilante justice. But I mean, it's really difficult, especially in the case of like Charlie Kirk. Was he causing enough damage with his words to like cause people to lose their life? I've seen enough about this guy now. It's probably he looked like the type to tell a trans kid to kill himself or herself or themselves. Like he definitely seems the type, or seemed, I should say. Rest in peace, bro. Like I said earlier, you don't talk that talk. You best be ready to walk that walk. Before any of you dipshits say, oh, don't forget that. I haven't since I was 7 years old, motherfuckers. I ain't gonna do it anytime soon. Yeah, I'm getting another Kit Kat. Fuck you. But I think that's enough rage debate and enough years taken off my life. Not that there weren't many left anyways. With that all being said and done, I hope you all have a fantastic day or night, whichever it is for you. And as always, until next time, please be easy.